Chapter 967. Jiang Yin, Tang Er, and the rest of the Hidden Dragon League appeared near the gold-ranked beast. They looked at the pale Lin Xian and the weak gold-ranked beast and smiled cruelly. After some discussion, the two of them split up. Jiang Yin ran towards Lin Xian while Tang Er led Yao Bing, and the rest towards the gold-ranked beast. Die, kid! Jiang Yin turned into a shooting star and rushed towards Lin Xian. On his body, a fiery red aura surged, turning into raging flames that burned fiercely. He was like a burning meteorite, rushing towards Lin Xian with great power. This time, Jiang Yin went all out and decided to take down Lin Xian in one move. Although Lin Xian was weak, the black light that he shot out was too terrifying. That kind of attack could seriously injure a gold-ranked beast. If Lin Xian used it again, Jiang Yin would not be able to block it. Therefore, he had to capture Lin Xian as soon as possible. Tang Er sneered and led Yao Bin and the rest to attack the gold-ranked beast. At this moment, the gold-ranked beast was extremely weak. It was lying on the ground, and its eyes had lost its light. It did not have much combat power now, and could not block the attacks of Tang Er and the rest. How dare you! Seeing this scene, Morong Qingqing also yelled out, a trace of anger appearing on her delicate little face. In the next moment, he decisively abandoned the gold-ranked beast and rushed towards Lin Xian. Compared to the gold-ranked beast, she was more concerned about Lin Xian's safety. Haha, kid, die! You dare to offend the Hidden Dragon League? You will suffer. Jiang Yin sneered and waved his hand quickly. A fiery red palm print fell from the sky with a mysterious flame. Fire God's palm. With one slap, the area within 100 miles was covered in a sea of fire. There were strange patterns on the huge red palm, and it emitted a scorching aura. Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Even though he was extremely weak right now, he wasn't someone who could be trampled on. He snorted and was about to use his cards to attack. However, at this moment a light flashed. Morong Qingqing's figure was like a purple phantom. Her speed was extremely fast and she arrived beside Lin Xian in an instant. At the same time, she waved her hand and a purple mark quickly formed. Sky-flipping seal. The terrifying purple palm print surged out again, as if it could shake the heavens and earth. In the next moment, the terrifying purple palm print and the crimson-red fire god's palm collided. Rumble! A terrifying sound rang out. The heavens and earth resonated. The fire god's palm was incomparably red, bringing with it endless heat waves that burned in all directions. Its aura was not weaker than the flames on the 7th level of the mountain. In the sea of flame Xian, the sky-flipped seal realm. The sky-flipped seal was Dragon Xian. As Xian was emitting a mysterious aura. A powerful and terrifying force surged out of the overturning heaven seal, causing the entire world to tremble. This attack was too terrifying. It was like a stormy sea, swift and fierce to the extreme. Bang! In the midst of this intense confrontation, a groan was heard. In the next moment, a crimson figure quickly retreated, and retreated 100 feet in the air. Wherever she passed, she left behind a trail of crimson lava. The purple light in the heavens and earth dissipated. Morong Qingqing was like a beautiful fairy. Her long dress fluttered in the wind. Jiang Yin, on the other hand, retreated 100 feet. His arm was numb, and his face was full of fear. He was at a disadvantage in this attack and was sent flying. This was when his opponent was exhausted. Otherwise, he would have been in a worse state. One had to know that his opponent was in an intense battle with the gold-ranked demonic beast. However, she still had the energy to send him flying. It was shocking. Jiang Yan's face was full of shock. His eyes flickered as he stared ahead, wondering if he should continue to attack. Although he was angry that he couldn't kill Lin Xian in a short period of time, at least he had restrained the two of them, giving Tang Er enough time to kill the gold-ranked demonic beast. After Tang Er succeeded, he would gather all his forces to kill Lin Xian. He didn't believe that Morong Qingqing could withstand his and Tang Er's fierce attacks. Although his idea was good, reality was cruel. Just as he and Morong Qingqing were attacking, Lin Xian was not idle. He quickly withdrew his soul power and released the control of the gold-ranked demonic beast. In the distance, Tang Er led Yao Bing and the rest to surround the gold-ranked demonic beast. Then a powerful aura surged from their bodies as they prepared to attack. However, in the next moment, the gold-ranked demonic beast lying on the ground suddenly opened its eyes. Its huge golden eyes shone with a terrifying light. The demonic chi, which had been fading away, suddenly began to congeal and explode out. Without the control of the thousand-beast cauldron, the gold-ranked demonic beast recovered. In an instant, it recovered from its weak state to its peak. It even became more violent. With a fierce look in its eyes, the gold-ranked demonic beast roared. It was too angry. As the king of the demonic beast-slaying world, no one dared to offend it. But now, two small warriors had provoked it again and again, and they had succeeded. They had almost killed it. This made it fall into an endless rage. Now it had just recovered from its weak state, and someone dared to kill it again. This was unbearable. Only by killing these despicable humans in front of it could it calm the anger in its heart. Therefore it attacked without mercy. Its huge golden claws and terrifying golden tail swept out, enveloping the surroundings. In an instant, Tang Er's face turned green. He didn't expect the weak gold-ranked demonic beast to recover and become even more violent than before. He was scared out of his wits. The gold-ranked demonic beast had completely evolved and had no weaknesses. It was not something they could fight against. Yao Bin and the rest were so scared that they peed their pants. Just the demonic beast's aura alone was enough to make their legs weak. They couldn't even stand straight, not to mention the terrifying golden claws. Run! Finally, someone couldn't stand it anymore. He screamed and turned to run. When the other Hidden Dragon League disciples saw this, they all ran away. Tang Er's face was pale. He looked at the gold-ranked demonic beast unwillingly, then turned into a wisp of green smoke and ran away. Although he didn't know why the gold-ranked demonic beast recovered and made them lose the chance to kill it, he didn't have time to think about it. Running away was the most important thing. However, the gold-ranked demonic beast was infuriated. It swore to kill these despicable humans. How could it give Tang Er and the rest a chance to escape? In the next moment, the huge golden claws quickly grew in size. They covered the sky and slammed down fiercely. Golden light bloomed. The sharp claws emitted a strong murderous aura and a terrifying demonic aura. The sky full of golden light completely enveloped Tang Er and the rest. The terrifying aura spread out in all directions, covering the entire space. After a series of earth-shattering sounds, Tang Er and the rest of them flew out while vomiting blood. They were in a sorry state and suffered heavy internal injuries. Chapter 968. Tang Er, Yao Bin, and dozens of others were severely injured by the gold-ranked beast. They turned into white light and left the demon-slaying realm. This scene shocked everyone, especially Jiang Yan. He was completely stunned. This was not an outcome he had expected at all. He would never have thought that the extremely weak gold-ranked beast would suddenly recover and injure Tang Er and the others with a single slap. They were even sent out of the demon-slaying realm in the end. This was an extremely tragic outcome. It was even worse than death. This was because once they left the demon-slaying realm, it meant that they had completely failed in the demon-slaying conference. All their previous efforts had been in vain. Even the demon blood pool at the end had nothing to do with those people. After all, they had fought so hard for the demon cores in order to obtain greater benefits from the demon blood pool at the end and increase their strength. However, they were now facing the danger of being sent out of the demon-slaying realm. He did not dare to take this risk again. Jiang Yan swallowed with difficulty. His expression was extremely ugly. He glared at Lin Xian and the others with hatred, then rushed into the sky and quickly fled. Not to mention whether he could defeat Morong Qingsheng. The recovered gold-ranked beast was not something he could fight against. He did not want to be like Tang Er, who was severely injured by a single slap and then sent out. Therefore, he did not hesitate at all. He turned around and quickly fled. If anyone was here and saw this scene, their jaws would definitely drop. This was because Jiang Yan was a super powerhouse ranked 8th on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. However, he had been scared away at this moment. It was truly unbelievable. In the distance, Qi Hao's expression was also ugly. However, at the same time, he was extremely glad that he had not attacked with Jiang Yan and the others. Otherwise, he would have been sent out long ago. After looking deeply at Lin Xian and Yao Bin, Chi Hao took a deep breath and quickly left with the warriors behind him. He did not dare to stay here any longer. He did not want to stay here for even a minute. Who knew if the other party had any other terrifying trump cards? Although they looked incomparably weak, Chi Hao did not dare to have any ideas about them anymore. Tang Er was a very good example of this. Therefore, he quickly left with his people. Lin Xian looked at the backs of those people leaving, and a cold smile appeared on his lips. He believed that the scene just now was definitely too shocking. He was afraid that these people would wake up from their dreams in the future. Morong Qingqing also revealed a smile. Those despicable fellows were finally scared away. Although the two of them were overjoyed, they did not let down their guard. Although there were no martial artists around, there was still a gold-ranked demonic beast eyeing them. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. If he could control a golden beast once, he could do it again, even though it would consume a lot of his energy. But for the gold demon core, he had no choice but to fight. What should we do? Should we continue? Morong Qingqing asked. Of course we have to continue. Otherwise, all our previous efforts would have been in vain. Besides, killing a gold-tier beast is something that makes me excited. Lin Xian laughed. If we succeed, we will become the first team to slay a gold-ranked demonic beast in the history of the Immortal Martial Academy. This reputation is probably even more shocking than the top 10 on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. After all, the top 10 on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard would change every time. And the reputation of being the first to slay a gold-ranked demonic beast would be forever recorded in history. Hearing this, Morong Qingqing's delicate face also revealed a look of excitement. After that, the two of them discussed and prepared to kill the gold-ranked demonic beast again. This time, Lin Xian directly released the dark red divine dragon and the snow-white marquis to monitor the surroundings and not let any martial artists in. Lin Xian controlled the Thousand Beast Cauldron again and slowly walked towards the gold-ranked demonic beast. Originally, after the gold-ranked demonic beast sent Tang Er and the rest flying, its huge eyes were fixed on Lin Xian. The murderous intent in its eyes was not concealed at all. However, when Lin Xian took out the Thousand Beast Cauldron again, the gold-ranked demonic beast's body trembled, and a look of fear appeared in its eyes. It would not forget the pain it had suffered previously. That black light had directly destroyed its will. If it was not for the fact that the young man in front of it was too weak, it would have become a slave. Therefore, when it saw the shadow of the black cauldron, the gold-ranked demonic beast's heart was filled with fear. It did not want to experience the same thing again. Therefore, without hesitation, the gold-ranked demonic beast turned around and ran. It was a stark contrast to its previous aggressive demeanor. However, since Lin Xian had already decided to kill it, how could he give it a chance to escape? In the next moment, he injected all his remaining soul power into the Thousand Beast Cauldron. Immediately, the cauldron vibrated and emitted a black light. A ball of energy gushed out like a black lightning and instantly entered the body of the gold-ranked demonic beast. Roar! The gold-ranked demonic beast screamed in pain. Its eyes were filled with fear and unwillingness. However, it was quickly replaced by weakness. At this time, Morong Qingqing's expression was also solemn. Once again, she used the sky-flipping seal and quickly attacked the gold-ranked demonic beast. The two of them worked together and finally killed the gold-ranked demonic beast. Buzz! From the huge corpse, a golden heart quickly rose into the air and floated in the air, emitting a blinding golden light. Finally, the heart gradually condensed into a golden ball of light the size of a fist. It contained a terrifying amount of energy. Gold-ranked demonic core. Looking at the golden ball of light, Lin Xian took a deep breath, and his eyes were filled with excitement. After working so hard for so long, he finally obtained the legendary gold-ranked demonic core. This was probably the first gold-ranked demonic core in the history of the demon-slaying world. With a wave of her hand, Morong Qingqing held the gold-ranked demonic core in her hand. Then in a flash, she came to Lin Xian's side. Looking at the demonic core in front of them, the two of them were excited, and their eyes were filled with excitement. Is this the gold-ranked demonic core? It is indeed terrifying. The energy it contains is not comparable to that of a silver-ranked demonic core. Morong Qingqing exclaimed. Lin Xian was even more excited. He laughed and said, if this demonic core appears, I guess everyone will go crazy. Of course. I guess no one can resist the temptation of a gold-ranked demonic core. Hee, but now it is ours. When they take it out at the demonic blood pool, it will definitely scare a lot of people to death. Lin Xian had a smirk on his face. Morong Qingqing also covered her mouth and chuckled. This guy really liked to mess around. However, just as the two of them were cheering in joy, something unexpected happened. The clouds in the sky rolled, and the spiritual energy gathered like a torrent. The weather changed. Soon, the spiritual energy condensed into a row of golden words that appeared in the sky. When Lin Xian saw the words in the sky, he was dumbfounded. Even Morong Qingqing was stunned. Shocking news! Congratulations to Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing for creating history by becoming the first people to kill a gold-ranked demonic beast. Your great achievements will be recorded in the demon-slaying world forever. Chapter 969. World-shocking news. Congratulations to Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing for being the first to kill a gold-ranked beast. Your achievements will be recorded in the monster-slaying world forever. Everyone stared at the flashing golden words in the sky and fell into a daze. What's going on? They were stunned and had no idea what was going on. This had never happened in the monster-slaying world before. Could it be a prank? Someone did not believe it. That's a gold-ranked beast, how could it be killed? It's possible. No one has ever killed a gold-ranked beast, and it's impossible this time. That Lin Xian seems to be a new student. How could he do it? Suddenly, countless voices of doubt were heard. However, not long after, the news of Lin Xian and the others attacking a gold-ranked beast's nest spread. There was no helping it. There were many people attacking the nest this time, and most of them suffered great losses. Now that they heard the news, they were definitely unhappy. Therefore they quickly spread the news. Jiang Yan, Qi Hao, and the others looked at the sky with a gloomy expression. Others might not believe it, but they did. Not long ago, they saw with their own eyes Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing severely injuring a gold-ranked beast. With their skills, it should not be difficult for them to kill a gold-ranked beast. Thinking of this, their hearts were filled with hatred, especially Jiang Yan. He wanted to go back and snatch the gold-ranked beast core back. However, Tang Er and the others' fates were still replaying in his mind. Moreover, the other party had the mysterious black light and the sky flipping seal. That kind of killing move made him deeply fearful. Therefore, he did not dare to go back and snatch it. However, he did not plan to let Lin Xian go. Therefore, he quickly spread the news. What? Lin Xian really killed a gold-ranked beast. Gradually, many people found out the truth from the Hidden Dragon League. Then, their faces were filled with shock. They could not be blamed. This news was too shocking. Countless people were stunned. Soon the news spread like crazy. In addition to the golden words in the sky that lingered for a long time, the entire monster-slaying world knew about this news. In the mountains, a stalwart figure carrying a black longsword walked slowly. His steps were very steady. If one looked carefully, they would realize that the distance of each step was exactly the same, without the slightest difference. This imposing figure was Dugu Aotian. He raised his head and looked at the flickering golden words in the sky, revealing a trace of a smile. He did not expect that there would be such a person among the new students who could kill a gold-ranked beast. He muttered to himself in a low voice. His voice was unusually calm. It seemed that this news did not cause him much of a stir. Very quickly, he once again took steady steps towards the depths of the mountain. Dozens of silver-ranked demonic beasts' corpses were scattered around a lone peak that was 100 feet tall. Beside the corpses, a figure stood with his hands behind his back. Li Yunfei looked at the sky expressionlessly. No one knew what he was thinking. However, those star-like eyes gradually emitted a sharpness. In the vast forest, Lu Chang looked at the golden words in the sky. His face became extremely ferocious. Damn this guy. What kind of luck did he have to be able to kill a gold-ranked beast? He was going crazy. He did not expect Lin Xian to have such an opportunity. Before he left, he did not take Lin Xian seriously. He thought that as long as he met Lin Xian in the monster-slaying world, he could easily kick Lin Xian out of the competition. Although he had not met Lin Xian yet, there was news of Lin Xian killing a gold-ranked beast. That was a gold-ranked beast. It was an overlord in the monster-slaying world. Even Dugu Outyan and Cloud had not killed one. Now a new student had accomplished such a feat, it would be recorded in history forever. This made him angry and jealous at the same time. Young Master Lu, there's news. It's said that the gold-ranked beast was newly promoted. Moreover, Lin Xian was not the only one who attacked the beast's nest. Other than him, there's Qi Hao, Jiang Yin and Tang Er. They're all in the top 10 of the Mystic Supreme Leaderboard. That kid must have snatched the gold-ranked beast's core in the chaos. At the side, Wei Long received the report and said quickly, "Is the news reliable?" Lu Chang frowned and asked. "It's reliable. It's said that the news came from the Hidden Dragon Society. They've already sent out many people to search for Lin Xian's whereabouts. I was wondering how strong that kid was. How could he kill a gold-ranked beast? Now it seems that he was just lucky to get the core in the chaos." Lu Chang showed a trace of disdain. "But that's good too. Once I'm done with that kid, the gold-ranked beast's core will be mine." Thinking of this, he showed a trace of excitement, and a cruel smile appeared on his face. Soon, all the experts in the monster-slaying world received the news, and all kinds of thoughts appeared in their minds. Moreover, countless forces and teams moved quickly. It could be said that the undercurrent was surging. In fact, not only the people in the monster-slaying world received the news, but the immortal martial academy was also shocked. Above the true martial lake, the entire sky was filled with a faint light. It was like a mirror, showing what was happening in the monster-slaying world. However, the display only showed the last region of the demon blood pool, but the golden words that appeared in the sky were still seen by everyone. What? A gold-ranked beast was killed? How is that possible? Isn't that the legendary strongest beast in the monster-slaying world? I'm not sure, but I'm very curious about what those golden words are. Could it be man-made? No, it should be formed automatically by the monster-slaying world. It can be said to be a symbol of glory, a senior said with a serious expression. So that means the news is true. Many people exclaimed, their faces full of shock. They didn't expect that the overlord of the monster-slaying world was killed by someone. Moreover, it was killed by 2 new students. Fuck, isn't this Lin Xian too strong? He can even kill a gold-ranked beast? That's an existence equivalent to the 4th heavenly layer of Venerable. Morong Qingqing, my goddess, is indeed incomparably strong. Shocking news. If it's really Lin Xian who did it, his strength would probably surpass Li Yunfei and Dugo Outyan, right? Not necessarily. Maybe there's something we don't know. A group of people discussed animatedly. It was abnormally intense. In a corner of the true martial lake, the people of the Dragon Sword Pavilion were incomparably excited and quickly cheered. Brother Xian, it's really Brother Xian. Brother Xian's name actually appeared in the monster-slaying world. Chapter 970. So what if they are in the top 10 of the Mystic Sovereign Leaderboard? Let them kill a gold-ranked beast. Did you see that? Brother Xian is the boss of our Dragon Sword Pavilion. Recruiting. Our Dragon Sword Pavilion is recruiting. The boss is the one who just killed a gold-ranked beast, Lin Xian. The Dragon Sword Pavilion is opening up 100 spots for new members. First come, first served. Don't miss this opportunity. Wang Li started to lead the disciples of the Dragon Sword Pavilion to recruit new members. Needless to say, the effect was great. Many people ran over in an instant. The others started to discuss among themselves, causing the entire true martial lake to be noisy. This news was too shocking. Even the demon-slaying conference had a strange phenomenon. It could be said that this was something that had never happened before. As for Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing, who were recorded in the history books, they became the real influential figures in the Immortal Martial Academy at this moment. In the sky on the giant red feather, a few elders were shocked. There's actually someone who can kill a gold-ranked beast? And it's a freshman? Did the demon-slaying conference make a mistake? No, I just took a look. The gold-ranked beast that was killed just recently advanced. Just advanced. But even so, It's not something that those people can fight against, right? A few elders were discussing quickly, their faces full of doubt. Obviously, these elders were still very doubtful of Lin Xian's ability to kill a gold-ranked beast. I wonder if it's possible to show the scene when they killed it? One of the elders asked. Yes, but it'll take some time. I'm afraid it's impossible now. Maybe we can only show it after the demon-slaying conference ends. But don't forget that Lin Xian has Morong Qingqing by his side. She's the little princess of the Morong clan. I think she must have some powerful weapon in her hands to be able to kill a gold-ranked beast. Hearing this, a few elders nodded in agreement. They paid special attention to Morong Qingqing. After all, she was the little princess of the Morong clan. In front of them, Din Xian nodded slightly. Not bad, not bad. Hearing Din Xian's words, the elders stopped their discussion. Headmaster, where did this brat come from? He's actually able to walk together with the little princess of the Morong family. From what I know, that little girl has very high standards. That's right. Furthermore, the Wanxiang auction was destroyed. Given young Master Lingfeng's strength, he would have sent people over. Fortunately, you secretly stopped him. Otherwise, I'm afraid that this kid wouldn't even be able to participate in this demon-slaying assembly. The elders shifted the topic to Lin Xian. Headmaster Xian stood with her hands behind her back and said calmly, "Maybe he is the one we are waiting for." What? It's him. Is this true? I always thought it was just a rumor. That's right. Does that person really exist? Several elders were moved. It shouldn't be wrong, Xian Xuezhang said slowly. Next, we have to pay close attention to him. We can't let those old monsters attack him. As for the younger generation, let them deal with it themselves. If he can't even solve these problems, then we don't have to expect anything from him. Don't worry, Dean. Our Immortal Martial Academy is no pushover. Do they think they can control the entire Sky Martial continent just because they have the support of foreign powers? Another elder snorted coldly. Things aren't that bad. At least, before the internal strife ends, there won't be too big of a commotion. Headmaster Xian said in a deep voice. However, this won't take too long. At least 3 to 5 years, and at most 10 years. I'm afraid the results will be out. And if the other party succeeds, the Sky Martial continent will face a calamity. Just like the current Tiannan region. Another elder frowned. Yes, if the other party succeeds, the Sky Martial continent's outcome will be similar to the Tiannan region, or even worse. This is also why we can't rashly help the Tiannan region. Currently, with our strength, we can't directly clash with the foreign powers. What about the Tiannan region? An elder asked. Just pay close attention. There's no need to act. We can provide them with some resources. Don't worry, the Tiannan region isn't so easy to deal with. The elders quickly discussed, from Lin Xian's identity to the situation of the Tiannan region. It seemed that the Sky Martial continent wasn't as peaceful as it seemed on the surface. However, Lin Xian didn't know any of this. At this moment, he was already dumbfounded, staring blankly at the sky. Morong Qingqing was also stunned. Her delicate little face was filled with doubt. What does this mean? Lin Xian asked with a pale face. I think it's because we created history and caused the demon-slaying world's phenomenon, Morong Qingqing said. After all, she came from a king family, and her knowledge was extraordinary. Phenomenon? Lin Xian frowned. That means everyone saw this thing. It should be. Morong Qingqing laughed bitterly. Fuck. Hearing this news, Lin Xian jumped up. What was a gold demon beast? It was the overlord of the demon-slaying world. Furthermore, it contained an incomparably precious gold demon core. That was something that everyone would covet. Now the news of him having a gold demon core had actually spread. Moreover, it was known to everyone. This caused him to fall into an extremely dangerous situation. One had to know that this thing didn't only attract Jiang Yan, Tang Er, and the others. Perhaps even Li Yinfei, Dugu Ao Tian, and the others would be tempted. If those people were to make a move, with Lin Xian's current state, he probably wouldn't be able to contend against them. Even if it wasn't those super experts, other warriors would group up to find trouble with him. It would also give him a headache. Originally, he wanted to secretly hide the gold demon core, and wait until the demon blood pool to take it out to shock the world. However, he didn't expect that the demon-slaying world would directly announce the news of him having a gold demon core. Damn it! Lin Xian's expression was ugly. He turned around and left. He was incomparably weak right now. He had to find a safe place to recover. Then, the two of them quickly left the area. At the same time, the entire demon-slaying world began to move. An extremely oppressive aura quickly spread. Countless forces moved out to search for Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng. In the eyes of everyone, the two of them were more tempting than any demon beast lair. After all, the gold lair was a forbidden area. Ordinary people didn't dare to enter at all. However, Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng were different. According to the information they received, the two of them had snatched the gold demon core during the chaos. Therefore, as long as they could find Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng, they believed that they would be able to snatch the gold demon core. For a time, all the teams in the demon-slaying world began to move. They swore to find Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng. Chapter 971. This disappointed everyone. The demon slayer's world was very big. If the two of them really wanted to hide, they would not be able to find them without 10 days to half a month. If that was the case, then it would take too much time. They could not just find the two of them. They had to find other monster lairs to prepare for the monster blood pool. Therefore, they did not have much time left. For a time, many people decided to give up the search. Bang! When Lu Chang heard the news, he waved his fist angrily and blew up a mountain in front of him. Countless gravel splashed like a meteor shower, falling around Lu Chang. Lu Chang's face was ferocious, and his whole body was emitting a terrifying aura. Damn thief, he's too cowardly. How dare he hide? Lu Chang was very angry. He had sent his men to quickly search for him these days. But no matter how hard he searched, there was no result. This drove him crazy. If he could not find Lin Xian, he could not get the golden monster core. Young Master Lu, I have a way to force him out, Wei Long said quickly. What way? Lu Chang raised his eyebrows. According to the information we have, Lin Xian is not acting alone. In his team, besides Morong Qingcheng, Su Yu black-white double ghosts and others. If they can team up with Lin Xian, they must have a special relationship. If we can catch those people, I think Lin Xian will definitely come out. Hearing this, Lu Chang's eyes lit up. Good idea. I'll leave this matter to you. Don't worry, young Master Lu, it will definitely succeed, Wei Long said, patting his chest. Next, Wei Long left with some elite disciples of the Spear God Society and began to catch the black-white double ghosts, Su Yu and others. In a remote valley, two figures were sitting cross-legged quietly. These two people were Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng. They quickly left the area that day and came to this remote valley to meditate. They did not care about anything that happened in the outside world. Neither of them was injured, but they were exhausted, so they recovered after 2 days of recuperation. However, the two of them did not leave. Instead, they continued to stay in the valley. This battle had given them a lot of inspiration, especially Lin Xian. Cliff was currently undergoing a transformation. To be exact, his soul power had been greatly enhanced. Controlling the myriad beast cauldron had nearly exhausted his soul power. But this process had also tempered and improved his soul power. Originally, Lin Xian's soul force was equivalent to a Tier 5 alchemist. But now, his soul force had risen to the level of a Tier 6 alchemist. He was even at the pinnacle of Tier 6 alchemists. Even a martial artist at the 5th heaven of the Venerable Realm might not necessarily have a stronger soul power than him. This was extremely good news to him. After all, after he entered the Exalt realm, it wasn't just his body that had been tempered. Even his soul had been greatly nourished. The so-called martial soul actually contained the power of the soul. However, it was extremely difficult to cultivate one's soul power. It would only increase naturally as one's cultivation base increased. Other than that, other ordinary venerable ones did not have any good solutions. However, Lin Xian was different. As an alchemist, his soul power was already strong to begin with. Moreover, he had a way to cultivate his soul power. Now, through the myriad beast cauldron, his soul power had greatly increased. As a result, Although his cultivation base did not increase, his strength had increased by a lot. Moreover, his great dragon sword soul had also been nourished and became even stronger than before. As for alchemy, Lin Xian should be able to completely refine Tier 6 alchemy pills now. He could even attempt to refine Tier 7 alchemy pills. Tier 6 alchemy pills were already very precious, but Tier 7 alchemy pills were even rarer. Every single one of them was extremely valuable. It could be said that a Tier 7 alchemist's status was extraordinary. As for Lin Xian, he was now very close to becoming a Tier 7 alchemist. This battle was too worth it. Not only did he obtain a gold demon core, but his strength had also increased. This made him feel very good. Lin Xian stood up and felt the increase in attack power of the great dragon sword soul. The corner of his mouth raised into a smile. Then he turned his head to the side. Beside him, there was an extremely beautiful figure. At this moment, Morong Qingqing also opened her eyes and revealed a faint smile. "Looks like you've had a breakthrough," Lin Xian said with a smile. "Yes, I've gained some insights." Morong Qingqing twirled her hair. "Why do I feel like you've gained much more than me?" She glared at Lin Xian coquettishly. "Hee, it's okay." Lin Xian scratched his head and said, "We've been in this valley for quite some time now. Why don't we go out and have a look?" "I'll listen to you," Morong Qingqing said. Then, the two of them soared into the sky and turned into two streams of light. They knew that if they stayed in this valley, no one would be able to discover them. This was a very safe choice for them. Moreover, the demon cores in their hands were enough. However, Lin Xian chose to leave because no matter how many demon cores he had to pass through the last guardian to enter the demon blood pool. If he couldn't pass through the guardian, then the precious golden demon cores in his hands would become a pile of useless stones. Therefore, no matter how dangerous it was outside, he had to pass through the last guardian. Lin Xian took out the map and identified the direction. Then he flew towards the north. There was a big canyon there. That was the place where they had agreed to meet with the twin ghosts of Black and White and Suyu. Half a day later, the two of them arrived at the top of the canyon. Then they swayed their bodies and landed below. At this moment beside the canyon, there were 4 figures waiting anxiously. Suddenly, they heard the sound of something breaking through the air above them, and immediately looked up. When they saw Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing, Suyu and the rest exclaimed in joy. "Junior brother Lin, junior sister Morong, you're fine." "That's great." Suyu heaved a sigh of relief. The other 3 were also excited. They had also seen the golden flashing words in the sky, and knew that Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing had killed a golden demon beast. In their eyes, this was a miracle. However, while Suyu and the rest were excited, there was also a trace of worry on their faces. Lin Xian looked around and didn't see the twin ghosts of Black and White. He smiled and said, "What's wrong? Did those 2 go out to rob again?" "Junior brother Lin." Suyu and the rest looked like they wanted to say something but stopped. "What's wrong?" Seeing their expressions, Lin Xian frowned. "Senior sister Su, we're all on the same side. If you have something to say, just say it," Morong Qingqing said. "The twin ghosts of Black and White might be in danger," Suyu said worriedly. "What happened? Senior sister Su, tell us in detail." Chapter 972. It's like this. The news of the 2 of you killing a gold-ranked beast has spread throughout the monster-slaying world. Everyone knows that you have a gold-ranked demon core. Moreover, after the Hidden Dragon Society spread rumors, everyone thinks that the 2 of you snatched the gold-ranked demon core during the chaos. So, countless forces wanted to find the 2 of you and take the gold-ranked demon core from you. However, they searched for many days and couldn't find you. Many people gave up. However, at this time, a force called the Spear Society started hunting us and the Black-White Double Ghosts. They probably heard some news and wanted to catch us and force you out. The Black-White Double Ghosts led them away to protect us. It's been more than a day. I don't know what's going on with them. Hearing this, Lin Xian's face darkened. Morong Qingqing's face also turned cold. What kind of force is this Spear Society? Lin Xian asked in a low voice. This was because he didn't remember having any interactions with the Spear Society. The Spear Society is an organization founded by Lu Chang, who is ranked 4th on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. Lu Chang. Lin Xian frowned. Then, he remembered that before the monster-slaying conference started, a guy with a blood-red spear had caused trouble for him. He wasn't in the academy at that time. That person had injured Dongfang Xiong and the others and left. He didn't expect that person to appear again. Lu Chang, right? Let's settle old and new grudges together. Lin Xian clenched his fists. A sharp sword light flashed in his eyes. Lu Chang had hurt the people around him more than once, and had crossed his bottom line. Therefore, he didn't plan to let him go this time. Lin Xian didn't expect that someone would capture the people around him to threaten him. This had crossed his bottom line. Therefore, he wouldn't let this matter rest. Do you know where they went? Lin Xian asked. He was worried. Since the other party dared to capture the black-white double ghosts, it meant that they had the confidence to do so. Therefore, he had to find the black-white double ghosts as soon as possible. At that time they ran east. As for what happened after that, I don't know, Suyu said. After they had separated from the black-white double ghosts, they had been waiting in the canyon, so they were not very clear about what had happened outside. Don't worry, we'll just head east to search, Lin Xian comforted. Then, they quickly got up and flew toward the east. Along the way, they passed by a stronghold. Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing did not enter, while Suyu and the others went in to quickly gather information. Not long after they came out. How is it? Did you hear anything useful? Lin Xian asked. Yes, I found the black-white double demons. They are trapped in the Whitebone Mountain. Suyu and the others had a strange look on their faces. Whitebone Mountain? Do you know the location? Let's hurry over. We know where they are, but things have changed, Suyu said. The black and white double ghosts have injured their pursuers, but they didn't leave. Instead, they openly challenged Lu Chang. Now many people know about this, and many martial artists are flying toward the Whitebone Mountain. Hearing this, Lin Xian's mouth twitched slightly. These two guys were really bold. However, after these days of interaction, he knew the black and white double ghosts' way of doing things. They were not people who would take any losses. After being chased for so long, they must be very angry, so it was reasonable for them to challenge Lu Chang. It seemed that these two guys would be fine for the time being. Lin Xian and the others were relieved. Junior brother Lin, I think you shouldn't go. After all, they caught us to lure you out. The battle between the black and white double ghosts and Lu Chang will definitely attract a lot of people. If you go, I'm afraid it will be very dangerous. Don't worry, senior sister Su. We can even kill a golden demon beast. Why should we be afraid of those people? Lin Xian smiled. To be honest, he was not very worried now, because he was not afraid of those people before. And now that his strength had increased again, he was even less worried. If someone is stupid, they'll let him know how I got my golden demon core. Suyu and the others smiled bitterly. She realized that the people around her were not people who would take any losses. But she also knew that Lin Xian had the right to say such words. Moreover, the people from the Spear God Society were really too much. If it were not for her strength, she would have taught them a lesson. Then, the group went on their way and flew toward the Whitebone Mountain. The Whitebone Mountain was a very famous mountain in the demon-slaying world. Because it was made of white bones. The huge white bones were more terrifying and spectacular than real boulders. There was a rumor that the Whitebone Mountain was actually the corpse of a demon beast. However, not many people believed it because the Whitebone Mountain was too high. It was thousands of feet high, and it was a continuous mountain range. If it was really the corpse of a demon beast, then the demon beast was too terrifying. A demon beast that was thousands of feet high. What kind of demon beast would it be? No one had ever heard of it. However, this did not affect the reputation of the Whitebone Mountain at all, because the final demon blood pool was behind the Whitebone Mountain. Moreover, the rumored 3 gatekeepers were also in the Whitebone Mountain. However, the 3 gatekeepers should be in the depths of the Whitebone Mountain. At least those who were on the 3rd leg would not have the chance to see them. Usually, the Whitebone Mountain was surrounded by ghosts and the demon aura was thick. There were not many people, but now it was very lively. At that moment, Countless warriors were heading toward the White Bone Mountain, and they were all very excited. In the belly of the mountain, there was a vast area that looked like a flat plain. This was also the place with the most number of cultivators. In the middle of the flat area stood two figures, one black and one white. They were the black-white double ghosts. Opposite them was a man with a blood-red spear on his back, and he was sitting cross-legged. He was surrounded by a group of warriors from the Spear God Society, and all of them looked serious. Outside, there were other warriors who had come to watch. The warriors looked at the scene and discussed animatedly, and they were very excited. The black-white double ghosts were very famous, and there was no one who did not know them. Lu Chang was even more impressive. As a super expert who ranked 4th on the Mystic Sovereign list, he was very powerful. The battle between the two of them could be said to have attracted everyone's attention. In an instant, all kinds of discussions broke out, and everyone was talking about the upcoming battle. Although the black-white double ghosts are powerful, they are overestimating themselves to challenge Lu Chang. What do you know? Back then, they dared to challenge Li Yunfei before they went into seclusion. Now that they have come out of seclusion, what's the fuss about challenging Lu Chang? Chapter 973. Just as these people were discussing, the double ghosts of Black and White snorted. Lu, are you going to fight or not? Black saw snorted. You're so slow, just like a woman. The White Demon also shouted. That's right. You've been here for so long, but you're just sitting there. Tell me if you're going to fight or not. Hearing this, Lu Chang slowly opened his eyes and looked around. Then he said calmly, No hurry, wait a little longer. He sneered. He would not fight until he saw the person he wanted to see. Seeing this, the Black Demon was also angry. He shouted, Lu, don't think that I don't know what you're planning. That's right. Didn't you capture us to lure Lin Xian out? The White Demon also shouted. However, I suspect that there's something wrong with your brain. Lin Xian can even kill a gold-tier beast. You dare to provoke someone like that? Aren't you looking for death? Kill a gold-tier beast? Lu Chang sneered disdainfully. He's just a kid who took advantage of the chaos. What's so great about him? If he dares to come, I'll kill him with my spear. His eyes flashed coldly and he sneered. Since you know why I'm here, that's great. If you know where that kid is hiding, you'd better tell me. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state. At least, before that kid appears, I won't let you die so easily. Lu Chang's voice was ferocious. Stop bragging. It's not too late to say these words after you capture us. The double ghosts of Black and White did not back down. In an instant, the two forces confronted each other, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. The surrounding martial artists exclaimed. They did not expect that Lu Chang was chasing the double ghosts of Black and White to lure Lin Xian out. Most of the people here had participated in the mission to find Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian hid very well. They could not find him after a few days, so they gave up. However, they did not expect that Lu Chang would not give up. Instead, he thought of another way to lure Lin Xian out. However, their eyes soon became heated. If nothing unexpected happened, the battle between the double ghosts of Black and White and Lu Chang would begin here. In other words, Lin Xian could appear here at any time. Thinking of this, they became excited. That was because Lin Xian had a gold demon core, which was an extremely precious item. There was probably only one in the entire demon-slaying world that was in the hands of a human. For a time, countless warriors were excited. Although they might not be able to defeat Lin Xian, it was not certain in the chaos. There were two figures standing on top of the mountain in the distance. They were like gods and demons as they looked down. On the other side, a handsome young man said with his hands behind his back. Their strength has increased a lot after coming out of seclusion this time. However, it seems that they are still no match for Lu Chang. The two people who spoke were Dugo Outyin and Li Yunfei. The battle had attracted the two of them. However, they did not appear in the middle of the mountain like the others. Instead, they came to the high peak. Looking down from here, he could see everything below. Lu Chang is indeed much stronger. Judging by his vitality, he must have mastered the Furious Dragon Spear technique. However, it seems that it is still not enough to deal with the gatekeeper. Dugo Outyin said in a deep voice. Li Yunfei also sighed. He did not know what Red Buddha was doing. He did not even participate in the demon-slaying conference this time. Originally, with his strength as the third on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard, he should be able to fight against a gatekeeper. However, he did not appear. Could it be that Lu Chang is really going to be the third person to defend the pass? Li Yunfei frowned slightly. The gatekeeper's challenge was related to whether they could enter the final demon blood pool. There could not be any mistakes. Lu Chang is a little reluctant. If it doesn't work out, let him and Chi Hao fight against the third gatekeeper together. Although it won't be a perfect pass, it's still much better than failing. A perfect pass meant that they would be able to obtain the most benefits from the demon blood pool. However, if there were more gatekeepers, the benefits would be reduced. Therefore, a 3-on-3 was the most ideal choice. However, if it did not work out, they could only go 4-on-3. Actually, there is another choice, Dugu Outyin said. You mean Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing? Li Yunfei frowned. I know that you have some conflicts with that kid. However, I have to admit that both of them are strong. At the very least, they were able to kill a gold-colored beast. I think they must have some trump cards up their sleeves. I think that Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing have a higher chance of fighting against the last gatekeeper than Lu Chang and the others. Hearing that, Li Yunfei raised his eyebrows. His eyes were filled with surprise. He did not expect Dugo Outyin to have such a high opinion of Lin Xian. However, when he mentioned Lin Xian, he did feel a little uncomfortable. Before the monster-slaying conference, he did not take Lin Xian seriously at all. He thought that Lin Xian was just an ant who wanted to get close to Morong Qingqing to gain some benefits. However, he did not expect that Lin Xian would be able to kill a gold-colored beast in such a short time. Moreover, it was recorded in the history of the monster-slaying world. The difference between before and after was just too great. Even he was shocked when he found out. Let's wait and see. Li Yunfei took a deep breath. In any case, the purpose of this battle is to lure that kid out. I reckon that it won't be long before Lin Xian and Lu Chang fight. At that time, whoever wins will take on the mission of fighting the third guardian. Alright. Dugo Outyin nodded. The two of them did not say anything else and looked down again. Below, the black-white double ghosts could not take it anymore. The two of them roared angrily, and their auras exploded. Two extremely powerful forces surged out and quickly swept out in all directions. Instantly, the surrounding people cried out in surprise and kept retreating. Their eyes were filled with shock. As expected of the black-white double ghosts, they are indeed ferocious. Judging by their auras, they probably have the strength of the top 10 on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard. They are too powerful. No wonder they dared to challenge Lu Chang. Their auras are not bad. Indeed, they are qualified to enter the top 10 on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard. However, you have no chance of winning against me. Lu Chang sneered disdainfully. Then he slowly stood up. Chapter 974. So powerful. The surrounding warriors trembled and quickly retreated. The aura was so powerful that it made it difficult for them to breathe. The spiritual power in their bodies seemed to have solidified. The black-white double ghosts were also shocked. They did not expect Lu Chang's aura to be so powerful. It seemed that he had improved greatly during this period of time. Although they were shocked, they were not afraid. They even dared to challenge Li Yunfei, let alone Lu Chang, who was ranked 4th. With a roar, the black-white double ghosts fought back with all their might. Black chi gushed out of the black demon's body and formed a black moon behind him. The white demon shouted, and a white silk snake quickly formed beside her. It was ferocious and terrifying. Then, the two of them launched 2 attacks at the willow spear. A 300-meter-long crescent-shaped sword chi suddenly slashed down from the sky with unparalleled power. It was extremely sharp. The white demon waved her hand, and her spiritual power surged. Her body emitted a white light and palm shadows danced in the air like white spiritual snakes. The black-white double ghosts attacked together and charged toward Lu Chang with terrifying attacks. Humph, you're just an ant. How dare you compete with the sun and moon? Lu Chang smiled disdainfully and pulled out the crimson spear from his back. The moment he held the spear, Endless crimson light gushed out of his body. It was like thousands of crimson rainbows that rushed in all directions. Then, Lu Chang raised the crimson spear and stabbed it out. The spear was like a stunning rainbow, and was as fast as crimson lightning. It was extremely sharp. Boom! In the next moment, the two collided with a shocking sound. Endless light flashed, and formed a rain of light that fell quickly. After the attack, the black-white double ghosts turned pale, and took 3 steps back. Their eyes were filled with shock. Lu Chang stood with his spear like a rock. There was obvious disdain on his face. So powerful. This aura is definitely not that of an ordinary level 3 honorable. Many people exclaimed, "Is this the power of the 4th on the Mystic Honorable leaderboard?" Jiang Yin looked at Lu Chang in front of him, and said in a serious tone. On the other side, Qi Hao frowned. This guy's strength has increased again. How is that possible? He was too shocked. As the 5th on the Mystic Honorable leaderboard, he often fought with Lu Chang. Therefore, he was very clear about Lu Chang's strength. In the past, Lu Chang was not as strong as he was now. This fellow is too terrifying. Qi Hao felt his scalp go numb. The twin ghosts of black and white were even more shocked. Their arms were numb, and the immense power caused their blood to churn. Their eyes were filled with shock. Although they had the combat strength of the top 10 on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard, they had not been able to withstand the blow, and had almost vomited blood. The gap between them was too big. Thinking of this, their eyes were filled with fury, and their entire being became extremely ferocious. They couldn't bear it. They couldn't accept this fact. It had to be known that their final goal after leaving seclusion was Li Yunfei. However, they couldn't even defeat the 4th-ranked Lu Chang. How could they challenge Li Yunfei? The two of them looked at each other, and then the aura in their bodies began to become strange. "I don't believe that you can take this move of ours." Black Fiend gritted his teeth and said, "Use whatever moves you have. Don't worry, I won't kill you. At least not before that brat comes." Lu Chang's voice was cold as he looked down at the two of them. The twin ghosts of black and white did not say anything else. Instead, they quickly circulated the spiritual power in their bodies. In the next moment, the two of them did not hesitate, and quickly summoned their martial souls. Balls of black aura surged out of Black Fiend's body, and merged with the black moon. The white phosphorus serpent beside the white fiend also became more solid. It was lifelike, like a real demon king. In the next moment, the two of them shouted and quickly connected. The black and white aura in their bodies merged, and formed a yin-yang diagram. Suddenly, an even more terrifying power was released. "You have such a move. Your power has indeed increased, but it's still useless against me." Lu Chang sneered. "Whether it's useful or not, you'll find out soon enough." Black Fiend snorted, then shouted, "Merge!" Following this, the two of them quickly collided and released endless black and white light. The black and white light was so blinding that everyone could not help but close their eyes. It was impossible to see what was going on inside. However, judging from the fluctuations of the aura, the two of them must have used their ultimate moves. This was because the aura that the two of them were releasing was no weaker than Lu Chang's. Soon, the black and white aura disappeared as everyone watched. Then, a huge object appeared before everyone's eyes. This is... Looking at the figure in front of them, everyone was stunned. How is this possible? How did they do it? Everyone was shocked, and disbelief was written all over their faces. Even Lu Chang was shocked, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. Martial soul fusion? They can actually fuse their martial souls. Lu Chang was indeed shocked, because the fusion of their martial souls had formed a black and white dragon. The surrounding warriors were even more shocked, and their eyes almost popped out. Martial soul fusion? They had never seen such a move before. Moreover, this move must be very terrifying, because the white-scaled snake had turned into a dragon, and its strength should have increased by a lot. As expected of the black-white double demons, they can even think of such a fierce move. No wonder they dared to challenge Lu Chang. This martial soul fusion technique can maximize the strength of both of them. I think his strength is not much weaker than Lu Chang's. Many people were discussing, and were extremely excited. Lu Chang recovered from his initial shock. He looked at the black and white dragon and sneered. Transforming a snake into a dragon, It is indeed a good move. However, you have challenged the wrong person. No matter how powerful you are still a dragon. How can you compare to a real dragon? Lu Chang said coldly with a trace of fierceness in his voice. In the next moment, clenched his blood-red spear, and a scarlet light emerged from his body. Strange runes appeared on the long spear, emitting a sharp aura. Lu Chang also shouted angrily, "Angry dragon spear technique." The spear stabbed out like an angry dragon. The terrifying spear light turned into a blood-red dragon and roared in the air. On the opposite side, the black-white double demons also shouted and jointly controlled the black and white dragon in the sky to spiral down. Rumble! In the end, the two attacks collided and a terrifying vibration sounded. The whole world was shaking. The huge white bone mountain shook, as if it would collapse at any time. Terrifying spiritual power spread in all directions and blasted the surrounding warriors away. This attack was too terrifying, as if it could destroy the world. Chapter 975. In front of them, the black and white dragon became dim and weak, as if it would dissipate at any time. On the other hand, the crimson dragon was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It was extremely ferocious and could tear everything apart. Seeing this, everyone knew that the black-white double ghosts had lost. Although their martial soul fusion was strange and powerful, Lu Chang was even more powerful. His raging dragon spear technique had reached the greater success stage and was extremely powerful. When the spear stabbed out, it was like a crimson dragon. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment, the crimson dragon roared and blasted the black and white dragon away. Then it pounced on the black-white double ghosts in an even more ferocious manner. In an instant, the crimson spear arrived in front of the black-white double ghosts and was about to stab them. If the spear stabbed them, the black-white double ghosts would definitely be teleported out of the monster-slaying world. Many people exclaimed. They did not expect the black-white double ghosts to be so powerful. In the end, they were still defeated. Not only that, they might even bid farewell to the monster-slaying world. At this moment, a cold snort was heard. Then, a purple light curtain appeared beside the black-white double ghosts and completely enveloped them. Not only that, but there was also a sword chi in the void. It was like a shocking rainbow that slashed toward the crimson dragon. Boom! The two collided again, making a deafening sound. Terrifying energy spread out in all directions. Fortunately, the black-white double ghosts had the purple light curtain as a defense, blocking all the energy impact. As for the incomparably powerful blood-colored dragon, it was also blocked by the mysterious sword chi. What? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They thought that the black-white double ghosts would leave the monster-slaying world completely. However, at the last moment, there was a shocking reversal. The black-white double ghosts were pale. Looking at the scene in front of them, they heaved a sigh of relief. Damn brat, you're finally here. But you shouldn't have come. They naturally knew who had attacked. There was only one person who could unleash such a powerful sword chi. Although they were happy, they were also worried. Lu Chang was also shocked. His eyes were cold as he stared at the void and said coldly, "You dared to show up. How audacious. Didn't you do so much to lure me out? Now that I'm here, come at me." A low voice with a hint of coldness was heard. "Lin Xian, it's Lin Xian." Hearing this voice, someone exclaimed, "What? Lin Xian? He actually dared to come out. Doesn't he know that Lu Chang is doing this to capture him? That's too stupid. Isn't doing that tantamount to sending a sheep into a tiger's den?" Not necessarily. Just now, he managed to block the willow spear's attack. Maybe he has the strength to contend against the willow spear. Everyone was discussing animatedly, but without exception, they were all very excited. Above the clouds, at the peak of the mountain, Dugu Outyen and Li Yunfei narrowed their eyes and said in a low voice, "He's finally here. Let me see if you're qualified to challenge the third keeper." Dugu Outyen and Li Yunfei's hearts were also focused, because this battle was related to who would be able to challenge the last guardian. Below, the void rippled, and two figures quickly appeared. They were Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng. The moment Lin Xian appeared, the surrounding martial artists all held their breaths, their eyes blazing with a fiery light. Numerous greedy gazes looked towards the sky, One had to know that Lin Xian had a golden demonic core in his hands. Although everyone was excited, no one dared to make a move because Lin Xian's attack was too terrifying. Other than Lu Chang, no one would be able to block it. However, they were not completely without a chance. As long as Lin Xian and Lu Chang fought, they might be injured in the end. As long as the situation became chaotic, they could make a move. Therefore, everyone suppressed the excitement in their hearts and waited patiently. At the same time, they also wanted to know if Lin Xian really had the strength to contend against Lu Chang. In the crowd, when Jiang Yin saw Lin Xian's figure, he immediately snorted coldly and his face darkened. It was because of that despicable brat that their hidden dragon society lost more than 10 elite disciples, and even Tang Er was chased out of the demon-slaying realm. Moreover, he had to escape in a sorry state, so he would definitely take revenge. Brat, you finally come out. I've been looking for you for a long time. Lu Chang stared at Lin Xian and sneered. But you're really stupid. You were forced out by such a small trick. How boring. You think too much. I'm not here because of your trick. Lin Xian said coldly. You dared to attack the people around me twice. Do you think he'll let you go? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Lin Xian was too domineering. Being forced out and taking the initiative to take revenge were two different things. The former was forced out and had no choice but to come out. The latter was done because he was confident and had the strength to do so. Obviously, Lin Xian was here to take revenge. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Lu Chang's face darkened. He said coldly, You're indeed a sharp-tongued brat. However, no matter what you say, it won't change the fact that you'll be defeated by me. If you obediently hand over the golden demon core and the Lone Star sword, I'll give you a quick death. Cut the crap. Lin Xian interrupted. I won't give you a chance to beg for mercy. With that, he pulled out the Lone Star sword. The sword vibrated and countless sword shadows appeared, filling the entire sky and emitting a terrifying light. A shocking sword aura shot up and pierced through the clouds. At this moment, Lin Xian was as cold as ever. He was indeed angry. Lu Chang's actions made him feel ashamed and angry. Therefore, he did not intend to hold back in this battle. Feeling the sharp sword aura from Lin Xian, Morong Qingqing also wanted to retreat with the twin ghosts of Black and White and Suyu. The twin ghosts of Black and White clutched their chests and said with difficulty, Let that brat deal with Lu Chang alone. Why don't you go and help him? Don't worry, he can do it. Morong Qingqing smiled. On the other hand, Lu Chang's face darkened completely. A newborn ant dared to draw his sword at him. This was a complete provocation. Moreover, as young Master Lingfeng's subordinate, he would not let Lin Xian go. Therefore, no matter what, Lin Xian must die today. Die, brat! Lu Chang gripped his blood-red spear tightly and stabbed it out. This spear was extremely sharp. The terrifying spear radiance pierced through the sky and lit up the entire sky. The clouds in all directions were scattered, and a huge crack appeared in the sky. It was a shocking sight. Everyone was incomparably terrified and dumbstruck. Just how much power did one need to be able to pierce through the heavens with a single spear? At this moment, Lu Chang had completely exploded. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his body was strong like a real dragon. His body was emitting a blood-red radiance that was extremely hot. A pair of strong hands gripped the blood-red spear tightly and stabbed it out quickly. One had to admit that Lu Chang was too powerful. He was far beyond Jiang Yin, Tang Er, and the rest. This was a true super powerhouse. Chapter 976. Die, brat! You dared to touch my friend and angered me. So you'll be the one to die. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He held the Lone Star sword tightly and slashed out fearlessly. Boom! A terrifying collision sound was heard as the entire space exploded. The blood-red spear light and sharp sword chi were everywhere in the void, as if the world was about to be destroyed. The entire sky was enveloped by these lights, which spread for hundreds of miles. He's not dead. Lu Chang was surprised. He realized that Lin Xian had not been assassinated, and that powerful aura was still there. This surprised him. One had to know that the power of his spear was extremely terrifying. A third heaven venerable realm martial artist could not withstand it at all. However, Lin Xian was able to withstand it. This surprised him greatly. Lin Xian was also slightly moved. Although Lin Xian was arrogant and detestable, he had to admit that he was indeed powerful. The power of the spear was too terrifying. It was as if a true dragon was continuously attacking. There was also a trace of terrifying destructive aura in it. With a flash of light, Lin Xian and Lu Chang's figures appeared in front of everyone again. What? He's fine. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to withstand such a stunning spear attack. It could be said that Lin Xian's performance was beyond everyone's expectations. Lu Chang snorted coldly. You do have some ability. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. But let's see how many spears you can take. Lu Chang's entire body was emitting a terrifying aura. There was a blood-red glow in his eyes as he opened and closed them. The aura on his body was too powerful. He was like a god of war, and was unstoppable. With a long roar, he attacked again with his spear. Furious Dragon Spear Technique. Lu Chang held the blood-red spear and swung it. His entire body emitted a blood-red glow. Streaks of shocking spear light flashed. It was as if a mountain was being split open, and the sky was being torn apart. The momentum was astonishing. In the end, countless spear lights converged into one and shook the entire space. Lin Xian's expression was cold. There was a sharp sword light flashing in his eyes. Terrifying sword chi also surrounded his body. The great dragon sword soul within his body surged, providing him with the most powerful combat strength. A shocking sword chi tore through the sky and quickly slashed down. It was like a bolt of lightning descending from the sky, causing everyone's ears to ring and unable to stand steadily. The sword light was like the 9 heavens' thunder tribulation. It was so terrifying that the entire White Bone Mountain was trembling. Everyone was shocked, and their faces were incomparably pale. No matter what, even if Lin Xian was defeated in the end, it was still enough to shock the world. That was because he was simply too powerful, especially that sword. Its attack power was astonishing, as if it could split the world apart. Terrifying energy surged, drowning the entire sky. After the violent explosion, 2 figures quickly retreated, standing on opposite sides. Everyone looked up at the sky, and their hearts trembled violently. Neither of them was injured, and their auras were getting stronger and stronger. They could not help but be shocked. Lu Chang was a super strong cultivator ranked 4th on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. Everyone could understand why he was not injured. However, Lin Xian, a freshman, was actually unharmed. This made them extremely shocked. That lad must have used some kind of powerful defensive technique. Otherwise, he would not have been able to block such a powerful energy attack. Everyone was amazed. At the same time, they were extremely shocked. Lin Xian was too powerful, and his attack power was terrifying. It would be difficult for others to snatch the golden demonic core from him. At the moment, Lu Chang was probably the only one with hope. I was wondering what it was. It turns out that you've used some kind of defensive secret technique. However, so what if your defense is strong? My attack power is not something you can imagine. Lu Chang's voice was cold, and his eyes were burning with anger. Actually, he was not as calm as he looked. That was because he had tied with his opponent in both attacks. If his opponent was a super strong cultivator ranked 3rd on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard, then it would be fine. However, his opponent was not. He was just a freshman. He could not accept that. Therefore, he did not plan to hold back, and was prepared to attack with all his might. Lad, I've had enough fun. When you're transported out of the demon-slaying world, I'll take the treasures from you. Now, you can die safely. Then, Lu Chang took a step forward and looked down at Lin Xian like a god of war. Above his head, an endless amount of blood-red chi surged and quickly condensed into the shadow of a blood-red spear. In the next moment, a shocking power was released. It was as if it could split mountains and rivers and crush everything. Martial soul, this is the power of a martial soul. Lu Chang had summoned his martial soul. It looked like he was going to finish off his opponent in one move. Indeed, the shadow of the blood-red spear was Lu Chang's martial soul. Although they had tied, Lu Chang had decided not to waste any more time with his opponent. After all, The longer he dragged it out, the more embarrassed he would be. He had to use his strongest attack to kill his opponent. Only then would it be in line with his reputation. As the blood-red spear martial soul condensed, streaks of blood-red spear radiance shot into the sky, connecting heaven and earth. In an instant, the entire sky was blood-red. It was boundless. In the next moment, his martial soul merged with the spear in his hand and released a dazzling light. It was like a blood-red sun that was extremely dazzling. Lu Chang's black hair fluttered in the wind. Every move he made had an aura that could swallow mountains and rivers and crush everything. He was like a deity that wanted to crush Lin Xian in an extremely domineering manner. The surrounding martial artists trembled and could not help but want to kneel down. In their eyes, Lu Chang was like a god of war. He was unstoppable. His aura made them tremble from the depths of their hearts. "You want to finish me in one move? Very well, as you wish." Lin Xian's voice was cold. The great dragon sword soul in his body erupted again. An extremely sharp aura filled his body. In front of him, an ice lotus rotated and released a terrifying icy power. It was vast and mighty, as if it was going to freeze the entire Whitebone Mountain. Then, under Lin Xian's control, the ice lotus covered the Lone Star sword, causing it to emit a cold aura. It was as if it was a sword of ice. Lin Xian moved quickly in the void and rushed toward Lu Chang. Waves of bone-chilling ice energy quickly bloomed, and the extremely powerful Great Dragon Sword Soul was also contained within. Bang! The two of them collided, and an earth-shattering battle broke out. Countless rays of light scattered in all directions. At this moment, everyone's hearts trembled. Lin Xian was too powerful. He was like a peerless sword immortal. He was extremely sharp, and actually forced Lu Chang to retreat. Die brat! Lu Chang was completely enraged. He had already released his martial soul and used his most powerful attack. He originally thought that he could kill Lin Xian with one move. However, he did not expect that he would be forced to retreat. This made him feel like he was going crazy. He could not take it anymore. He decisively used the killing move of the Angry Dragon Spear art, wanting to kill Lin Xian. Angry Dragon Spear art, dragon soaring 9 heavens. Chapter 977. In the next moment, as the crimson spear in his hand pierced out, the huge dragon shadow also roared and rushed forward. "Let's end this." Lin Xian's voice was cold. He was like a sword god as he slashed out a sword chi that pierced through the entire heaven and earth, rushing forward quickly. Wherever the sword chi passed, the void would be sliced apart. A terrifying sword scar would appear on the ground, extending into the distance. In the void, the crimson dragon was also cut in half by the sword. The huge corpse split open in the air, causing countless airwaves. However, it was not over yet. The shocking sword chi instantly arrived in front of Lu Chang and enveloped him. "Block it!" Lu Chang roared. The crimson light around his body condensed into a huge defensive light shield that enveloped his body and resisted the sword chi. Bang! It was as if two huge mountains had collided. A terrifying sound rang out in the surroundings. Then, Lu Chang flew backward like a meteorite. He smashed more than 10 mountains in a row before his body stopped and landed in a pile of rubble. What? Lu Chang lost. Everyone was stunned as they stared blankly at the scene. They could not believe it. Jiang Yan and the others' pupils shrank as their minds went blank. That was Lu Chang, a super expert who was ranked 4th. However, he had lost to Lin Xian. Everyone was shocked when Lu Chang was sent flying by the sword. Even Dugu Outyan and Li Yunfei on the mountain peak were surprised. They knew that Lin Xian was powerful, but they did not expect him to be so powerful that he could defeat Lu Chang. In other words, his strength was above Lu Chang's. No wonder he could kill a golden beast. This kid's strength was not bad. Dugu Outyan smirked. The stronger the opponent was, the higher their chances of winning against the gatekeeper. Li Yunfei's expression was not good. He did not want Lin Xian to win. After all, he had warned Lin Xian before, and they were somewhat hostile. At that time, he did not take Lin Xian seriously. He thought that the gap between them was like heaven and earth, and that Lin Xian would never be able to catch up with him. However, he did not expect that the other party would improve so quickly. that he could already defeat Lu Chang. Judging from the strength that he had displayed, Lin Xian could already enter the top 3 of the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. However, although he didn't believe it, the truth was right in front of him. In the ruins below, Lu Chang stood up with great difficulty. The armor on his chest had been shattered long ago, and countless cracks had spread all over it. His eyes were filled with terror. Impossible, I won't lose. How could I lose to him? Lu Chang shook his head frantically. He could not accept this reality. He was a super strong fighter ranked 4th on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. How could he lose to a new student? Furthermore, he had prepared too much for this demon-slaying conference. Originally, he had thought that his current strength was enough to squeeze into the top 3 of the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. He had not expected to be defeated here. I don't believe it. I won't lose. Lu Chang roared at the sky with a crazed expression. But very quickly, his voice abruptly stopped, as if someone was strangling him. It was extremely strange. This was because Lin Xian's figure had suddenly appeared in front of him. An ice-cold sword was pressed against his throat. If he dared to scream again, he believed that the long sword would definitely pierce his body in an instant. Lu Chang trembled when he felt the cold aura from the sword. Fear rose in his heart. What are you trying to do? He suppressed the fear in his heart. He could not help but be afraid now. The sword earlier had already severely injured him. Now the other party was pressing a long sword against his vitals. If he did not handle this well, he might be killed and teleported out of the demon-slaying world. If that happened, things would get out of hand. He had prepared a lot for the demon-slaying conference. If he was teleported out now, all his previous efforts would have been in vain. Brat, I'm warning you. I'm Master Lingfeng's subordinate. You can't kill me. I can't kill you? Lin Xian sneered. Who do you think you are? I've already destroyed the Wanxiang auction, let alone you. Moreover, you can't blame others for your situation today. If you didn't cause trouble for me and threaten the people around me, I wouldn't even know who you are and wouldn't have fought with you. But you dug your own grave and attacked the people around me. You can't blame me for this. With that, Lin Xian's body emitted a murderous aura. The Lone Star sword in his hand quickly slashed down. No. Lu Chang was finally afraid. A deep sense of fear and unwillingness appeared in his eyes. He did not expect Lin Xian to ignore his identity and kill him directly. The surrounding crowd also exclaimed. They did not expect Lin Xian to actually attack. Many people even exclaimed, clang. However, in the next moment, the sound of metal clashing rang out and shook the entire area. Lin Xian frowned and quickly retreated. A huge force collided with the Lone Star sword, causing it to deviate from its target. Hearing the explosion beside him, Lu Chang suddenly opened his eyes. He was ecstatic when he realized that he was not dead. The surrounding crowd also exclaimed. They did not expect the situation to change at the last moment. On the other hand, Lin Xian's brows were tightly furrowed as he quickly scanned the surroundings. In the next moment he squinted his eyes. He discovered that 2 figures had appeared. Their bodies were emitting rays of light as they rapidly descended from the mountain. In the end, their bodies swayed and appeared on the battlefield. Seeing the 2 of them, Lin Xian was slightly surprised. The surrounding crowd also exclaimed, Dugu Outyan, Li Yunfei. They did not expect the 2 of them to appear at the last moment. One had to know that these 2 were the top disciples of the Immortal Martial Academy. Their fame was much greater than Lu Chang's. In the hearts of the crowd, Dugu Outyan and Li Yunfei were the true giants. You've already won. Why do you have to kill him? Li Yunfei coldly said. All right, let Lu Chang apologize and let this matter pass. After all, his strength is not bad. In the final battle of the Demon Blood Pool, he might be of use, Dugu Outyan said. Demon Blood Pool battle? Hearing this, the crowd pricked up their ears. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Li Yunfei said in a low voice. You all should know that this mountain of bones is the location of the final gatekeepers. On the 3 highest peaks, there are 3 gatekeepers. Only by defeating all 3 of them will we be able to pass through the mountain of bones and enter the demon blood pool at the end and obtain benefits. The fewer people we use to challenge the gatekeepers, the more benefits we will obtain in the demon blood pool. Logically speaking, One person challenging all the gatekeepers is the best situation. However, I'm sorry to tell everyone that this is impossible. This time, the gatekeepers are extremely powerful. Even if Dugu and I join forces, we won't be able to challenge them. Hence, the most ideal choice is to challenge one gatekeeper each. Originally, this matter should be taken up by the top 3 on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. However, Red Buddha, who is ranked 3rd, did not participate in the demon-slaying gathering this time. Lin Xian shrugged. That's not up to you. Lu Chang snorted coldly and looked at Li Yunfei with his hand on his chest. Lin Xian ignored his little actions and continued to say coldly, because you'll be leaving the demon-slaying world soon. At the end of his sentence, a blood-red light suddenly surged out of his body. It carried a thick blood qi and swept across the entire area. This blood-red aura was extremely powerful, much more powerful than Lu Chang's. In the next moment, a blood-red long sword appeared in Lin Xian's left hand. It was suffused with a blood-red light, as if it was a bloodthirsty demon. The blood-red long sword stabbed out and instantly pierced into Lu Chang's body. Immediately, blood spurted out and covered the entire area. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to suddenly make a move. Moreover, it was a heavy blow. Even Duga Outyin and Li Yunfei were stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to attack in front of them. However, Dugu Outyin was still fine. He was originally somewhat dissatisfied with Lu Chang's request. After all, Lin Xian had already won and already had the 3rd challenge slot. However, Lu Chang still wanted to challenge again. He really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Li Yunfei's face darkened. Originally, he wanted to give Lu Chang a chance. If he really had a trump card that he hadn't used, he might be able to defeat Lin Xian. However, before he could speak, Lin Xian beat him to it and seriously injured Lu Chang. It was so fast that even he couldn't react. You. Lu Chang's body trembled. His eyes were filled with anger and unwillingness. The spiritual energy in his body was quickly drained. In the end, his body turned into a white light and disappeared from the demon-slaying world. No matter how hard he tried, he still left the demon-slaying world in the end. At the last moment, he probably didn't expect that he would leave in such a way. The scene was silent for a moment. Everyone fell into a daze. The people of the Spear God Society were all stunned. They looked at Lin Xian with a face full of horror. Wei Long's body trembled, and he almost wet himself. Lin Xian shrugged. You don't really think that this guy has any trump cards, do you? Even if he does, he's not my opponent. Even so, you shouldn't have sent him out of the demon-slaying world, right? Li Yunfei's voice carried a trace of blame. Lin Xian also stopped smiling and said coldly, I think you've forgotten that he's my enemy. I've never been soft-hearted when dealing with enemies. Hearing this, everyone was silent and their hearts trembled. Indeed, Lu Chang had desperately tried to capture Lin Xian's companions. He had even tried to kill Lin Xian many times. It could be said that there was an irreconcilable hatred between the two. Now that Lin Xian had sent him out of the demon-slaying world, no one would say anything. Chapter 979. In the distance, a huge white mountain peak was faintly discernible in the clouds. He knew that there were 3 powerful enemies in the mountain, who were the gatekeepers in their eyes. They had to defeat the 3 gatekeepers in order to pass through the White Bone Mountain and enter the demonic blood pool. Even though Lin Xian was now the 3rd challenger, it would not be easy for him to defeat the gatekeeper. Even Dugu Outyin and Li Yunfei did not have full confidence in defeating the gatekeepers. One could imagine how powerful the gatekeepers were. Morong Qingshan's eyes flickered as well, carrying a trace of worry. However, she did not suggest joining forces because she believed in Lin Xian. She believed that he could do it. In front, Dugu Outyin looked at Lin Xian. Although his gaze was calm, it contained a mysterious power, as if he wanted to see through Lin Xian. Li Yunfei also looked at Lin Xian with a complicated expression. Lin Xian did not feel pressured by the gazes of these 2 influential figures. He asked, Seniors, can you tell me more about the gatekeepers? Only by knowing the enemy and oneself could one win 100 battles. Therefore, before the battle, he would think about what kind of existence his opponents were. These 3 gatekeepers are very special. They are not completely demonic beasts. To be exact, they are members of the demonic clan. Demonic clan? Lin Xian was shocked and his pupil shrank. He did not expect the gatekeepers to be members of the demonic clan. The demonic clan was a more powerful and noble existence than the demonic beasts. Not only did they have the strong physique of the demonic beasts, but they also had intelligence that was not inferior to humans. They could be said to be very powerful. Lin Xian did not expect the gatekeepers to be members of the demonic clan. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian suppressed the shock in his heart and asked again, "What realm are they in?" "They are not weaker than the gold demonic beasts," Li Yunfei said. "Of course, the gold demonic beasts here are mature ones, not the ones you killed that had just advanced." Although they were all gold demonic beasts, the ones that had just advanced were still weaker. Lin Xian understood this point. Very strong indeed. Lin Xian took a deep breath, wondering if the 10,000 beast cauldron could affect the demon race. Although he was curious, he didn't plan to use it again. At least, he couldn't be as brazen as last time. Because this final battle would be shown to the immortal martial academy in the outside world. At that time, even the headmaster and elders would be spectating the battle. If he were to reveal some of his secrets, it would surely attract unnecessary trouble. Therefore, this battle was very difficult. Previously, Li Yunfei and I fought against the Guardian once. Our best result was a draw. However, according to the rules of the monster-slaying world, as long as we don't lose, we'll pass, Dugu Outyin said. If he didn't lose, he would pass. Hearing this, Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. In other words, as long as they tied, they would win. But in the next moment, he frowned again because Dugu Outyin and Yunfei were able to fight to a draw in a one-on-one battle. In other words, whether or not he could pass this stage would depend on him. If he could win or tie, then they would be able to enter. But if he failed here, then they would completely lose the chance to enter the demon blood pool. Because according to the rules of the monster-slaying world, they had to defeat 3 guardians. This is really stressful. Lin Xian rubbed his temples. He laughed bitterly. In such a short period of time, the hopes of all the immortal martial disciples in the monster-slaying world were all placed on him. Before this was something he would never have imagined. Before this, they risked their lives to kill the demonic beasts and collect their demonic cores, all for the sake of obtaining good fortune in the demon blood pool. But if they were unable to successfully defeat the guardians, then all their previous efforts would have been wasted. If that was really the case, it would be an extremely heavy blow. Probably no one would be able to accept such an outcome. And the key to success, or failure this time, all depended on Lin Xian. "Now, I'm afraid you won't have the chance to regret," Li Yunfei said in a low voice. "Although the pressure is great, I won't give up." Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, and his eyes shone with a dazzling light. Wasn't it just the demon clan? Wasn't it just the guardians? At worst, he would fight with his life on the line. There was nothing to be afraid of. Moreover, he had many trump cards in his hands. If he used his full strength, it would be hard to say who would win. Actually, you don't have to feel any pressure. Just do your best. Dugu Outyin comforted from the side. When the surrounding people heard this, they almost fell silent. Pairs of expectant eyes looked at the 3 people in the field. They knew that whether or not they could obtain the fortune in the demon blood pool, in the end, all depended on the 3 people in front of them. Su Yu and the others were shocked. They had been in contact with Lin Xian for the longest time. When they first entered the monster-slaying world, they met him. But they didn't expect that the handsome young man they met back then would now become the final challenger. This kind of rapid growth, and the contrast between their identities shocked Su Yu and the others. Morong Qingcheng, on the other hand, had a faint smile on her face as she looked at Lin Xian gently. Although she knew that the guardian must be very strong, she believed that Lin Xian would definitely be able to win. "Well, get ready. Adjust your body to the peak. We will soon begin the final challenge," Dugu Outyin said to Lin Xian. Then he glanced around and said in a clear voice, "Everyone, we will have the final challenge in 3 days. Please inform each other that all disciples of the demon-slaying world should come to the White Bone Mountain within 3 days. Although I don't know the final result, please believe that we will do our best. Dugu Aoshin's sonorous voice spread clearly in all directions. Hearing this, everyone became excited. They knew that the final battle was about to begin. The news quickly spread throughout the monster-slaying world. Everyone was excited. They didn't care about collecting demon cores anymore. They all hurried to White Bone Mountain. They had to get to White Bone Mountain in the last minute to witness the final battle. At night, a cool breeze blew and a faint demon chi floated in the sky. On top of the gigantic White Bone Mountain, a young figure sat cross-legged. His palms were constantly changing seals. Along with the seals, the surrounding spiritual energy quickly gathered and flowed into his body. Then, the surface of his body began to emit a faint light that contained a vast amount of power. This process lasted for a long time. Then, the handsome young man slowly opened his eyes. Then, he exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. "I've finally recovered," Lin Xian said. After half a day of recovery, he finally adjusted his body to the peak state again. "Are you nervous?" Morong Qingcheng, who was as beautiful as a fairy, asked. "A little." Lin Xian rubbed his face. Chapter 980. Actually, you don't have to think too much. The 3 of you are already the most powerful among these people. If even the 3 of you can't win, then the others won't have any hope. Moreover, even if you lose, I don't think anyone will blame you, Morong Qingcheng said softly. I hope so. Lin Xian let out a long sigh. He covered his head with both hands and lay on the ground. On the ground, there was a faint chill from the white bones and hair. Lin Xian didn't feel any discomfort lying on top of them. He rested his head on his arms and looked at the light purple sky. His eyes flickered, and no one knew what he was thinking. Seeing this scene, Morong Qingcheng also followed Lin Shui's example and lay down on the White Bone Mountain. Morong Qingcheng's little face was slightly red, and her heart was beating nonstop. To be honest, it was her first time being so close to the opposite sex. She turned her head slightly and looked at Lin Xian, who was close by, and a faint smile appeared on her lips. She didn't know why, but she seemed to enjoy the current feeling very much. Suddenly, a thought appeared in her heart. How good would it be if the 2 of them could lie like this forever? As if sensing Morong Qingcheng's gaze, Lin Xian also turned his head to look at her. Then their eyes met. Morong Qingcheng's little face was hot, but this time, she didn't look away. The 2 of them looked at each other quietly, as if they had forgotten everything. A gentle breeze blew, fluttering their clothes and also their hearts. When the sky gradually turned white, the entire White Bone Mountain became lively. Almost everyone came to the White Bone Mountain, waiting to watch the final battle. When Lin Xian, Dugu Aotian, and Li Yunfei appeared in the sky, everyone stood up. They looked at the sky with excitement and anticipation. Lin Xian stood in the sky and looked at the crowd below. He was also excited. Dugu Aotian carried an ancient sword on his back and said loudly, "Let's go. Everyone, follow me to where the gatekeepers are." Then he turned around and stepped into the air. Lin Xian took a deep breath and followed. The countless martial artists below were also running excitedly. For a moment, the entire White Bone Mountain was shaking as if there was an earthquake. And just when everyone was heading towards the Guardian, the students of the Immortal Martial Academy were all extremely agitated. Countless disciples gathered at the true martial lake and looked up at the sky with excitement. The image of the White Bone Mountain was displayed there. When they saw the incomparably huge White Bone Mountain tremble slightly, everyone's eyes became fiery, because they knew that the final challenge was about to begin. They had waited so long for this final moment. Needless to say, the last 3 challenges would definitely be to kill the 3 strongest people in the demon realm. Their battle was definitely a top-notch battle. It was rare for them to see a battle of this level. Now that they had the opportunity to observe it, how could they not be moved? Moreover, these people also wanted to see what the legendary guardian looked like. In the sky, a few elders also revealed curious expressions. Headmaster Xian waved her hands and shot out a series of laws into the sky. Instantly, the image became even clearer. Everyone below held their breaths and stared at the sky. Then they discovered that on the huge White Bone Mountain, 3 silhouettes gradually appeared. The 3 silhouettes were shrouded in light and floated in the air, looking extremely mysterious. Is that the gatekeeper? How mysterious. Yeah, although it's just a portrait, I can still feel a sense of palpitating aura. I wonder who these 3 gatekeepers are. They don't look like demonic beasts. Everyone was discussing. Their hearts were filled with curiosity. The 3 guardians floated in the air, their bodies emitting a faint glow. They didn't move at all, and just sat there quietly, as if they had been like this since ancient times. Suddenly, the clouds in the image rolled as if there was a huge wave of air rushing over, blowing away all the clouds and making the image clearer. Everyone's eyes widened. They knew that this change wasn't caused by the headmaster, but by something inside the White Bone Mountain. Rays of light lit up from the foot of the mountain, accompanied by countless rapid sounds of breaking through the air. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were rushing over. "They're here! They're here!" someone exclaimed, and the voice immediately spread throughout the entire true martial lake. In the next moment, everyone raised their heads and trembled with excitement. They clenched their fists and looked expectant. Who do you think the 3 challengers will be? The first 2 must be Dugu Outyin and Li Yunfei. As for the third one, I'm not sure. Needless to say, it must be the most powerful one. Yes, it should be Red Buddha, who's ranked 3rd on the Mystic Venerable leaderboard. However, he doesn't seem to be participating in the demon-slaying gathering. That's why the 3rd challenger is so confusing. If the 3rd one didn't participate, it must be Lu Chong, who's ranked 4th. He's also a super powerhouse. I don't think he's much stronger than Li Yunfei and the others. It's possible, but not necessarily. After all, a large number of dark horses will appear in every demon-slaying gathering. This time, there will definitely be one. Perhaps someone will soar into the sky. Yes, I know. Those are all from the Hidden Dragon Society. They usually lie low in order to become famous in the demon-slaying gathering. Perhaps this time, someone will surpass everyone else and obtain the 3rd challenger spot. Stop discussing. I'm so excited that I'm about to pee my pants. Why aren't they here yet? Let me see who the 3rd challenger is. At this moment, everyone's attention is on the 3rd challenger, because he's the most uncertain and mysterious. In the sky, a few elders were also looking at the screen with a smile. Their faces were full of interest. Hee, I can't believe I'm also looking forward to the 3rd challenger. Yes, although the dark horses and newcomers this time are very strong, I'm afraid they're not at the level of the challengers. As for Lu Chong, although his strength and reputation are not bad, he seems to be a little lacking. I'm guessing that this time, they might be working together. Oh, you're saying that the 3rd challenger will be working together? It's possible. After all, there's only one chance to challenge. If they lose, they'll lose the chance to enter the demon blood pool. I'm afraid those little guys won't take such a risk. The safest way is for the 4th and 5th on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard to work together. Although the benefits will be less, it's still better than failure. The 4th and 5th on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard will be Lu Chong and Chi Hao working together. Perhaps there's another combination. At this moment, Ding Xian said. Don't forget about Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng. They had also killed gold demon beasts. Yes, it's possible. Although these 2 are newcomers, their strength is very strong. Moreover, Lin Xian has the Lonely Heart Sword, a half-earth rank treasure. His strength must be even higher. Morong Qingqing must also have the secret technique of a royal clan. If these two work together, I'm afraid they won't lose to Lu Chong and Qi Hao. Chapter 981. I wonder which group they'll be joining forces with this time. The elders quickly discussed. Don't worry, they'll definitely choose the strongest group. The four of them must have gone through a battle, and the winner will be the third challenger, Din Xian said. Hearing that, all the elders nodded. Hey, they're here, an elder said. At that moment, the disciples below also noticed the changes on the light screen. They immediately became nervous and held their breaths as they looked over nervously. The first to appear was a young man with a black longsword on his back. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and he had a majestic figure. He walked like a dragon or a tiger, like a god of war. Every move he made gave off a boundless pressure. Duguoutian. Seeing this figure, everyone exclaimed in surprise. The first to appear was indeed Duguoutian. As the first on the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard, he was definitely the strongest. After Duguoutian, it was a handsome young man. He was like a banished immortal, walking in the air with his hands behind his back. Li Yunfei. Seeing those handsome young men, the crowd cheered again. As the second on the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard, Li Yunfei's strength was only second to Duguoutian. Those two people's strength was extraordinary, and they were above everyone else. They could be said to be the two strongest people. Therefore, the crowd was not surprised that those two people had become challengers. What they were most concerned about was the mysterious third person. After those two people, another figure appeared before everyone's eyes. However, when everyone saw that figure, they were all stunned. Even the elders in the air were stunned. Everyone looked at the third figure, and were all stunned. Lin Xian. Everyone exclaimed, their faces full of shock. All the martial artists in the true martial lake were stunned. They originally thought that the third person to appear would be Lu Chong, who was the fourth on the Mystic Honorable Leaderboard. They did not expect it to be Lin Xian. This was too unexpected. Although Lin Xian was powerful, the crowd did not think that he had the strength to be a challenger. Moreover, although the news of the gold-colored beast being killed had spread, the names displayed were Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing. Therefore, they did not know how strong Lin Xian was. However, the fact that Lin Xian was able to obtain the third challenger slot meant that his battle prowess was still above everyone's expectations. Fuck, am I dreaming? Third place is actually Lin Xian. It's not Lu Chong. It's not anyone else. And it's definitely not someone from the Hidden Dragon League. It's actually Lin Xian. This fellow is probably the biggest dark horse in this demon-slaying assembly. Brother Xian, it's actually Brother Xian. Ahahaha, this is awesome. Did older Brother Xian set another record? I'm afraid this is the first freshman to become a challenger, right? The disciples of Dragon Sword Pavilion laughed crazily, their faces filled with excitement. Lin Xian was their boss. If Lin Xian's reputation rose, they would also benefit from it. Therefore, when they saw that the third challenger was their boss, they all shouted in excitement. In the sky, Din Xian and the group of elders were also stunned. They had already guessed that Lin Xian would appear, but they didn't expect him to appear alone. This was because in their estimation, other than Dugu Aotian and Li Yunfei, no one else could reach the level of a challenger by themselves. Therefore, in their opinion, the third challenger slot would appear in the form of a team. It would either be Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing, or Lu Chong and Qi Hao. However, at this moment, Lin Xian appeared alone, which indeed surprised them. A few elders even waited for a long time, but Morong Qingqing's figure did not appear. Only then did they believe that Lin Shui wanted to challenge alone. Isn't it too hasty to let a freshman fight? An elder frowned. This result really exceeded everyone's expectations. Not necessarily. Since they chose Lin Xian, they naturally have their reasons. Don't worry, these little guys won't joke about this. After all, they only have one chance to challenge, and it's related to everyone's interests, so no one will be careless. Lin Xian was able to obtain the third challenger slot. This means that he has the ability to convince everyone. Din Xian slowly said. After hearing this, The other elders nodded in agreement. Indeed, if Lin Xian did not have the corresponding ability, it would be impossible for him to obtain the third challenger slot. Thinking of this, they all looked forward to seeing how Lin Xian would perform in the challenge. Below, after the initial excitement, the disciples of the academy all quieted down. Everyone looked at the sky. They wanted to see how strong Lin Xian was to obtain the third challenger slot. In the monster-slaying realm, Lin Xian was in the void, looking at the three faint figures in front of him with a solemn expression. Needless to say, these three people were the legendary gatekeepers. Although they did not deliberately release their aura, he could still feel a powerful energy hibernating in their bodies. It was not weaker than Dugu Aotion and the others at all. At the same time, he also felt the existence of monster chi from the energy, which added a bit of fierceness. Before leaving, Lin Xian learned the basic information of the three gatekeepers from Dugu Aotion. These three were all from the monster clan and had extraordinary origins. One of them was a genius from the spiritual feather clan. He was very powerful and should be the strongest of the three gatekeepers. This person was naturally left to Dugu Aotion to deal with. There was also an elite from the giant rock clan. His innate defense was incomparably strong, and he was very terrifying. This person was left to Li Yunfei. The last one left to Lin Xian was the last one, an elite from the Golden Crow clan. These three gatekeepers were very powerful, and there was not much difference between them. However, the one from the spiritual feather clan was the strongest, and the other two were about the same strength. As if sensing the arrival of Lin Xian and the others, the three gatekeepers in front of them slowly opened their eyes. "You're finally here." A cold voice sounded without a trace of emotion. "Yes, this time we're here for the real challenge," Dugu Aotion said in a deep voice. Dugu Aoyan said in a deep voice. He had come here a few times with Li Yunfei and had fought with these people before, so he was not unfamiliar with them. Hearing Dugu Aotion's words, the light on the three gatekeepers gradually disappeared, revealing their true bodies. "This is the third challenger? He doesn't seem to be very powerful." A gaze swept towards Lin Xian, and then a cold voice sounded. While the three gatekeepers were looking at Lin Xian was also quickly sizing them up. The person in the middle was a handsome young man. He was slender and had a pair of white wings on his back. He looked like an angel. He was the strongest of the three gatekeepers, the elite from the spiritual feather clan. On his left was a tall figure. His muscles were like rocks, emitting a brown light. He was incomparably tall like a rock giant. The last one was an elite from the Golden Crow clan. His entire body was emitting a golden light like golden feathers. He was surrounded by a blazing aura. Seeing the last elite from the Golden Crow clan, Lin Xian frowned slightly. He could clearly remember that he had seen a great demon from the Golden Crow clan on the 8th level of the Flaming Mountain. That was true terror. Every movement of his carried a terrifying aura. Golden Crow clan. Chapter 982. Don't worry, he's not much weaker than us. You'll know when the time comes. Dugu Aoyan said indifferently when he heard the spiritual feather elite's question. Oh, is that so? The spiritual feather elite was surprised when he heard Dugu Aotian's words. He looked at Lin Xian in surprise again. Although he was not human, and the two of them were opponents, he knew Dugu Aotian's strength. Dugu Aoyan was a super elite who was not weaker than him. Someone who could be praised by him must be extraordinary. Since that's the case, let's begin. The spiritual feather elite said coldly. The last time we fought, we were evenly matched. This time, I'll use my true strength to fight with you. He stared at Dugu Aotian. All right, let's continue the battle from last time, and decide the winner this time. A domineering aura gradually emerged from Dugu Aotian's body, as if he was a king looking down on the world. Then, the two of them soared into the sky, and came to a mountain peak to confront each other. Brother Rock, let's have a match too, Li Yunfei said indifferently. I'll fight with you. Before the expert from the Boulder tribe could speak, the young man from the Golden Crow tribe spoke quickly. His eyes shone with a shocking light. However, Li Yunfei shook his head slightly. No, your opponent is him. Then he pointed at Lin Xian. A brat who just entered the third heaven of the supremacy realm. Too weak. Such a person is not worthy of being my opponent. The Golden Crow elite snorted with a disdainful expression. In his opinion, Lin Xian was too weak and was not worthy of being his opponent. However, Li Yunfei ignored him and said to the Boulder elite, "Brother Boulder, please." "All right." The Boulder elite nodded in agreement. Then he turned to the Golden Crow elite and said, "Jin Yu, stop fooling around. Your opponent is him. Fight well. If you lose, I won't forgive you." "Okay." The Golden Crow elite snorted coldly. He was very unhappy. Li Yunfei looked at Lin Xian and said in a low voice, "Be careful." Then he too rushed up and arrived at another mountain peak with the Boulder tribe. Only Lin Xian and the powerhouse of the Golden Crow clan, Jin Yu, were left in the field. Staring at Lin Xian, Jin Yu's face was filled with displeasure. "Brat, although I don't know how you obtained the third challenger spot, you're too weak. You don't have the qualifications to be my opponent. If you don't want to become a sinner, I advise you to get out of here and find someone stronger." Jin Yu stood proudly, his entire body emitting scorching energy. Lin Xian's expression also darkened. The other party had been attacking him coldly from the start, and his attitude was extremely arrogant. He didn't take him seriously at all. Did he really think that he was a pushover? Lin Xian only had one word for such an arrogant attitude: beat him up. Beat the other party until they were convinced. Hearing the other party's words, Lin Xian decisively shook his head. "No need. Make your move. I think that other than me, no one else can take on the third challenger spot." Lin Xian's voice wasn't loud, but it carried a domineering aura. At the same time, his body gradually emitted a fierce aura. He would go all out in this battle. At the same time, he would let the other party know why he had obtained the third challenger spot. You overestimate yourself. Very well, I'll personally deal with you." Jin Yu sneered disdainfully. "You look like the weakest. I estimate that after this battle, you'll lose the entire competition. Brat, you asked for this. You can't blame me." Jin Yu's body glowed, and a scorching energy quickly surged. The scorching energy quickly spread. Of the three battlefields, Lin Xian's side was the first to have an energy reaction. This greatly surprised everyone. On a lone mountain peak, the powerhouse of the spiritual feather tribe and Dugu Outyin were facing off. Both of them were very cautious and didn't attack rashly. Because their strength was similar, once they fought, it would be difficult to determine who would win. Thus, they had to find an opportunity to strike first. At this moment, the conflict between Lin Xian and Jin Yu had attracted their attention. "I'm still confused. Why did you give such an important position as the third challenger to a brat?" The powerhouse of the spiritual feather tribe was puzzled. "Although he's a bit young, his strength is far beyond your imagination. Don't doubt it. You'll find out soon enough," Dugu Outyin said. Then he pulled out the black longsword on his back. As the black longsword danced, a shocking sword chi rushed out, tearing through the sky and slashing toward the powerhouse of the spiritual feather tribe. The powerhouse of the spiritual feather tribe also let out a low roar. The pair of white wings on his back bloomed with light and quickly grew larger, covering the sky. Then a shocking light shone, and a terrifying energy drowned the entire mountain peak. On the other side, Li Yunfei and the powerhouse of the Stoneman tribe were also fighting. Sonorous sounds like thunder rang out from time to time, shaking the surroundings. Seeing that Dugu Outyin and Li Yunfei were fighting, the disciples of the Immortal Martial Academy were all watching nervously. When they saw that the two groups were locked in battle and were equally matched, they all cheered. Because according to the rules of the demon-slaying world, they didn't need to win. As long as they tied, they would pass. Therefore, the current situation could be said to be very good. At the same time, they were also extremely shocked. This was because the gatekeepers were too strong. They were actually able to tie with Dugu Outyin. One could imagine how strong they were. Moreover, the three gatekeepers all had young faces. It was obvious that they were also young people, but they were a bit weirder than normal humans. The surrounding disciples were puzzled. What kind of power was able to nurture such young experts? Feeling the terrifying energy erupting from the two groups, Jin Yu once again grinned maliciously. If it was an opponent like Dugo Outyin or Li Yunfei, I might be interested. But you am not interested at all. I'm very curious. When you lose, what kind of gaze will those people behind you use to look at you? Maybe they'll beat you to death. Ha 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 ha. Jin Yu raised his head and laughed loudly. I guarantee that you won't be able to laugh very soon. Lin Xian's expression was ice cold. After that, his gaze focused as the great dragon sword spirit in his body surged, emitting a shocking sword intent that rapidly gushed out from his body, tearing apart the sky. The gigantic sword chi connected the heavens and earth, stirring up the clouds in the surroundings. The terrifying aura was vast and mighty, causing everyone to be shocked. As expected, at the next moment, Jin Yu stopped laughing. He once again looked at Lin Xian, with a trace of astonishment in his eyes. What a powerful sword intent. Although this aura is inferior to Dugue Ocean's, it isn't weak either. Jin Yu nodded lightly. The current Lin Xian had already caused him to be a little interested. At this moment, everyone held their breaths as they quietly watched the battle where Lin Xian was at. Not only in the demon-slaying world, even in the Immortal Martial Academy, the disciples near the true martial lake were all staring at the sky with nervous expressions on their faces. Chapter 983. The elders looked at the screen in the sky and nodded. Indeed, Lin Xian's sword essence had surpassed most swordsmen. It was extremely powerful. Din Xian was also slightly surprised because he could sense that Lin Xian's sword essence had not stopped. It was still rising. This was a very interesting phenomenon. It meant that the sword essence that Lin Xian was displaying was not his full strength. The elders also noticed this and nodded. Not bad, not bad. Although this young man is a freshman, his sword essence still surpasses most people. The younger generation will surpass us in time. Although he is not as good as Dugu Outyin, with some training, he might become the second Dugu Outyin in a few years. A few elders said as they stroked their beards. They already had the intention of training Lin Xian. However, in the next moment, their eyes widened in shock. They almost pulled their beards out. What? This sword essence? They were too shocked because on the White Bone Mountain, Lin Xian's sword essence exploded again. A deep dragon roar was heard, releasing a terrifying sword essence. Shocking sword light shone in all directions. At that moment, Lin Xian's sword essence increased again, reaching an extremely terrifying level. At that moment, Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind. Sword chi surrounded him, as if the sword god had been reborn. This sword essence is so powerful. Everyone was stunned. Even the elders were shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a powerful sword essence. Judging from this aura, he doesn't seem to be weaker than Dugu Outyin. This young man is indeed powerful. No wonder he was able to become the third challenger. At that moment, the elders also understood that they had underestimated Lin Xian. Although he was a freshman, his strength was definitely at the level of the top 3 on the Mystic Sovereign leaderboard. Jin Yu was also stunned. He looked at Lin Xian in shock. He did not expect that Lin Xian would have such a powerful sword essence. He had underestimated Lin Xian before, but now it seemed that Lin Xian was not weak. When the surrounding warriors felt this aura, they became even more excited. The stronger Lin Xian was, the happier they were. That way they would have a higher chance of winning. Brat, I have to say that you have indeed exceeded my expectations. Jin Yu said in a deep voice. You are now qualified for me to make a move. Qualified? Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. Don't jump to conclusions so early. I think it won't be long before your perception changes again. How arrogant. Today, I'll show you what I can do. Jin Yu snorted coldly. His eyes were sharp, and a dazzling golden light burst out from his body. The entire sky was shrouded in golden light. It was like a golden ocean, extremely dazzling. Boom! Like a muffled thunderclap, an incomparably terrifying undulation erupted from Jin Yu's body, shocking everyone. Feeling this aura, everyone revealed a look of horror. Some of the weaker martial artists even collapsed to the ground. This aura was too powerful and incomparable. It was mixed with a biting cold demonic aura, as if a peerless demon had awakened. In the next moment, The golden light in the sky bent and condensed into a golden sun that shone in all directions. An incomparably resplendent light blossomed with a blazing aura, like a real sun, pressing down on Lin Xian. What kind of technique is this? It's so terrifying. Who exactly is he? How can he be so powerful? At this moment, countless people screamed in horror. The golden light shone in all directions, so dazzling that everyone could not open their eyes. In the shining golden sun in the sky, a figure sat cross-legged. He was like the sun god, standing in the void, blooming with dazzling light. The resplendent sun set, and the figure looked disdainfully in all directions. He directly stomped down on Lin Xian. What? He's actually stomping on Lin Xian with one foot? He's too arrogant. Who exactly is this gatekeeper? Everyone exclaimed, because the sword intent that Lin Xian displayed was already very powerful. However, the other party was even more arrogant. He actually stomped on Lin Xian with one foot. This was a naked humiliation. For a moment, the entire Whitebone Mountain was shaking and trembling nonstop. The sky was fluttering like a piece of cloth, as if it would be torn apart at any time. That figure was too terrifying, as if he could crush everything. Lin Xian's face was gloomy, and his eyes were shining. The other party was too arrogant. He actually stomped on him with one foot. He did not take him seriously at all. He raised his palm and formed a sword seal. Immediately, the Lone Star sword on his back emitted a clanging sound, and was quickly unsheathed. A light blue sword light shone like a vast star, incomparably deep. The great dragon sword spirit in Lin Xian's body erupted again. As the Lone Star sword was unsheathed, it rushed into the clouds like a rainbow. In the end, the sword chi gradually evolved into a true dragon, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, roaring in all directions. Accompanying it was an incomparably terrifying aura, as if it could destroy everything in the world. In the sky, the golden sun shone. The figure in the center was still disregarding everything, and quickly stomping down. Facing Lin Xian's terrifying sword chi, he was still not afraid. He still suppressed his opponent with an arrogant attitude. How arrogant and conceited was this? However, no one would laugh at him, because the other party had such strength. The golden sun was incomparably resplendent. It carried a terrifying power as it slowly rotated. The merciless golden light carried a scorching power that distorted and melted the entire void. In the next moment, the terrifying sword chi collided with the golden light that filled the sky. The sharp sword intent and the golden sun erupted with a piercing aura, causing everyone to feel terrified. The sky was shrouded by the two forces, entering a state of chaos. Everyone closed their eyes and kept retreating, because the aura was too terrifying, and the light was too intense. No one dared to look at it. Some people did not think much of it and wanted to look, but their eyes bled and were almost blinded. Rumble! A terrifying sound rang out, and countless rays of light landed on the Whitebone Mountain. The earth trembled, and the sky was torn apart. The sword chi was like a rainbow, piercing through the clouds. The golden sun was even more resplendent, flickering with a dazzling light. It was like a real sun, releasing terrifying heat waves. The two forces collided intensely, as if two ancient demonic mountains had collided, causing the entire space to tremble. Boom! Another intense collision. The entire Whitebone Mountain seemed to have been overturned, and countless people were sent flying. Then, the two figures staggered and confronted each other again. The countless rays of light in the sky gradually disappeared, and the thunderous sound also gradually faded. There was a huge crack above everyone's heads that was thousands of miles long. At this moment, it was slowly healing, as if a peerless ferocious beast had closed its mouth. Lin Xian stood with his sword in hand. He was like a sword immortal, unstoppable. Chapter 984. In this exchange, the two of them were evenly matched and were evenly matched. Everyone was stunned. The attack just now was too terrifying. It was beyond their imagination. Countless people exclaimed. They did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. His strength was definitely not inferior to Dugu Outyan and Li Yunfei. Moreover, What shocked them even more was that the gatekeeper was also extremely brave, and even displayed boundless demonic energy. Who is this gatekeeper? Why doesn't he look like a human? Yeah, the demonic energy on his body is too strong. Could it be that he's a demonic beast? Everyone discussed animatedly. Their eyes were filled with fear and doubt, because the gatekeeper was too powerful. His entire body was emitting golden light like a golden god of war. Moreover, the demonic energy on his body was too terrifying. It was not weaker than a golden demonic beast at all. For a moment, everyone was guessing the gatekeeper's identity. I know, it's actually him. Finally, someone exclaimed with a face full of shock. Who? Tell us. Don't keep us in suspense. Tell us quickly. Someone was anxious. You guessed right. He's indeed not a human but a demon. However, he's not a demonic beast but a demon. Demon. Everyone's faces were full of shock. Their mouths were wide open in disbelief. That's right, he's a demon. Moreover, he's a powerhouse from the Golden Crow tribe. The Golden Crow tribe was known as the Sun tribe. They had a powerful fire attribute physique, and were considered a large tribe among the demons. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect the figure in front of them to be a Golden Crow. If he was from the Golden Crow tribe, did that mean that the other two gatekeepers were also demons? Everyone was shocked and gasped. They did not expect the three gatekeepers to have such a background. The demons were an extremely powerful tribe. Not only did they have the physique of a demonic beast, but they also had the intelligence of a human. They could be said to be extremely powerful. The Golden Crow tribe. What a powerful physique. What a powerful fire attribute. Lin Xian stared at the golden figure in front of him, and muttered to himself. Jin Ye's expression was also solemn. He looked at Lin Xian with flickering eyes. Your strength is beyond my expectations. Looks like you're worthy of my serious attack. He spoke coldly. His entire body merged into the golden sun. His entire body emitted dazzling light, making him look like a golden god of war. On the surface of his body, golden flames burned fiercely. The terrifying heat was incomparably vast. If it were to explode, it would be enough to burn the entire Whitebone Mountain into ashes. You are very strong, but it is impossible for you to defeat me. Hearing this, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Then let's wait and see. Humph. With a cold snort, the void exploded, and terrifying flames spread in all directions. In the next moment, Jin Yu waved his arm, and quickly formed a seal, a dazzling ray of light, shining with boundless multicolored light, ruthlessly pressed down on Lin Xian. Divine Sun Seal. This was an ultimate technique of the Golden Crow clan. It was said to be able to evolve into a real sun. Its power was incomparably terrifying, and it could be refined by martial artists. Once this terrifying divine seal appeared, it immediately caused a commotion in all directions. All the disciples were incomparably terrified, and their bodies could not stop trembling. With the divine sun seal in his hand, Jin Yu charged towards Lin Xian as fast as a golden flash. Lin Xian's expression was cold and fearless. He let out a long roar, and his black hair fluttered. His entire person became incomparably fierce. The Lone Star sword in his hand released a sword light. It was as unfathomable as the sea of stars. In the next moment, he quickly swung his sword and slashed out a shocking sword light. Boom! The terrifying sword light streaked across the void, and ruthlessly collided with the divine sun seal. Instantly, the sky was torn apart again, and the terrifying energy annihilated everything. This scene was extremely shocking. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed, and it made everyone despair. With a furious roar, the golden light in the sky shone brightly, quickly forming a huge golden crow phantom that filled the sky. Accompanied by the golden crow phantom, Jin Yu quickly pounced over. An incomparable light bloomed in his hand as he charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian also roared angrily, and his voice shook the 9 heavens. He was like a god fiend, full of killing intent. On the Lone Star sword, there was a dragon-shaped sword chi that was extremely powerful. The two of them kept exchanging blows. Every blow caused the ground to sink and the sky to split open. This was a catastrophe. Countless terrifying cracks appeared in the sky, as if a mirror had been shattered. It was a shocking sight. The ground was even sunk, and a bottomless pit appeared. Seeing that the entire White Bone Mountain was about to sink, at the critical moment, a low roar came from underground. Then, an inexplicable force gushed out and enveloped the entire White Bone Mountain. It was this mysterious force that protected the White Bone Mountain and the safety of everyone. Otherwise, everything would have been turned into ashes by the attacks of the two of them. Essence of the sun, golden crow illuminating the sky. Jin Yu shouted coldly. His entire body shone with endless rays of light. Behind him, the wings formed by the golden light gradually solidified and turned into golden feathers. At the same time, metallic scales appeared on his body. In the sky, the huge golden crow phantom also solidified. It was as if a peerless, ferocious beast was rapidly awakening. The huge golden crow was like the sun, burning fiercely. When it spread its wings, it brought an endless sea of fire that burned in all directions. In the next moment, Jin Yu carried the sun god's seal and attacked Lin Xian together with the golden crow phantom above. Lin Xian held the Lone Star sword in his right hand and waved out countless terrifying sword chi. His left hand kept changing as he used the vermilion bird seal. The blood-red sword chi surged, bringing with it a monstrous killing aura. It was as if countless rivers of blood were flowing in the sky. In his left hand, a vermilion bird rushed out quickly. Its cry shook heaven and earth, bringing with it endless heat waves that surged into the sky. Two scenes exploded from Lin Xian's hands at the same time. It was extremely terrifying, as if it could destroy everything. All kinds of terrifying scenes collided together. Endless energy fell in all directions. The sky was even more tattered, like a mirror that kept shattering. Endless energy converged in the sky, constantly devouring and annihilating each other. They were in a stalemate. Lin Xian was shocked. As expected of the gatekeeper, he was extremely powerful. He had already activated the Great Dragon Sword Soul to the extreme. Although he stabbed the huge golden crow phantom, he did not cut Jin Yu's real body. This was the first person who could take his Great Dragon Sword Chi head-on. Jin Yu's body was surrounded by golden light. His face could not be seen clearly, but in fact, he was extremely shocked. His opponent's sword chi was too sharp. It was as if it could split heaven and earth. It had supreme offensive power. As a golden crow, he was incomparably powerful and had the protection of the golden crow phantom. That was why he was not cut by the sword chi. Otherwise, if it was another person, they would have already died under the sword chi. Where did this young man come from? Although he is not famous, his strength is so terrifying. Jin Yu was also shocked. He admitted that he had underestimated Lin Xian. Now the strength that he had displayed was definitely not weaker than Dugu Outyan and the others. Chapter 985. Thinking of this, Jin Yu's expression turned cold, and the ferocious light in his eyes bloomed again. The divine sun seal in his hand dissipated, and was replaced by a terrifying flame. Within the flame, a bright light gradually condensed. The blazing flame gradually solidified and appeared before everyone's eyes. It was a huge golden machete completely formed by the most powerful flames. It was dozens of feet long and was extremely terrifying. Could this be the Golden Crow tribe's ultimate skill, the Solar Golden Flame Blade? Someone cried out in alarm. His voice was filled with fear. This was definitely a very powerful killing move. It was cultivated from the Golden Crow tribe's origin crystal core, and could be said to be extremely powerful. It was said to be able to kill a powerhouse one level higher than oneself. At this moment, the other party had used such a terrifying move. It was obvious that he wanted to finish off Lin Xian. Oh no, this solar golden flame blade is too terrifying. I'm afraid Lin Xian won't be able to withstand it. Damn it! How could he have mastered such a terrifying cultivation technique? I read in ancient books that although this cultivation technique is the Golden Crow tribe's ultimate skill, very few people can master it. I didn't expect this guardian to have mastered it. Could it be that Lin Xian is going to lose? Please don't. For a moment, everyone was anxious as they discussed animatedly. Everyone had a nervous expression on their faces. This was a crucial battle. They could not lose, or else they would lose the chance to enter the demon blood pool. In the sky, Jin Yu held the solar golden flame blade and became extremely fierce. He was like a god of death, as the huge flaming blade was aimed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt as if he was facing a great enemy. He could sense a strong sense of danger from the flaming golden saber. This blade formed by golden flames was too terrifying. The energy it contained was something he had never seen before in his life. He did not dare to be careless. He took a deep breath and his body emitted a dazzling sword light. He quickly channeled the great dragon sword soul and raised his combat strength to the limit. At the same time, a layer of bright red armor covered his body. On the armor, there was a scarlet lotus flower that was blooming with a demonic light and swaying constantly. Lin Xian held the Lone Star sword in his hand, and he quickly swung it, sending out streaks of sword light. In the next moment, a massive sword image appeared in the sky. The sword shadow was blue in color and emitted a terrifying chill. There was an ice lotus engraved on the sword, as if it could freeze everything in the world. At the crucial moment, Lin Xian executed the Earth rank martial art, Gale Lightning Sword Art. Furthermore, he even integrated the Ice Lotus martial spirit into it. That power was earth-shattering, as if it wanted to freeze the entire world. At this moment, Jin Yu also waved his arm and quickly descended. The solar golden flame saber shone brightly. Mysterious patterns appeared on its surface, and all sorts of strange phenomena appeared around him. Above the void, a golden crow appeared. It spread its wings and soared into the sky. Its golden aura shone brightly as it tore apart the heavens and the earth. Then it pounced towards Lin Xian. In the blink of an eye, the terrifying golden crow shadow streaked across the sky with a sea of fire. Everywhere it passed, everything was burned. The heat was terrifying and boundless, as if it wanted to burn everything. Everyone was shocked and did not dare to imagine. This saber was too terrifying. Even a fourth heaven venerable realm cultivator would not be able to withstand it. Lin Xian was also shocked. He let out a low shout and quickly activated the Gale Lightning Sword Art. In the sky, the massive blue ice sword was swung, bringing with it an endless sea of blue light as it slashed forward. This time, he had to use his full strength. Otherwise, if he failed, their challenge would be over. The three-legged golden crow flew around Jin Yu, bringing with it endless flames. Then it swooped down with a shocking momentum. Lin Xian swung the heavenly sword, bringing with it a force that was as heavy as 10,000 pounds. It also brought with it a terrifying chill that pierced the bones. When the ice and fire collided, the two opposing forces exploded with a terrifying light that quickly covered the entire Whitebone Mountain. However, the solar golden flame saber lived up to its reputation. The sharp saber radiance turned into the feet of the golden crow, and like a peerless blade, it quickly slashed toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a second heavenly sword shadow appeared in the sky. This was a blood-red sword with a dense killing aura, like the sword of a demon god. This sword directly slashed toward the golden crow shadow, and the terrifying blood light split it, creating a sonorous sound. In an instant, all kinds of flames and sword chi burst forth, and the entire space was in chaos. One had to admit that the Golden Crow tribe was too powerful, especially the solar golden flame saber. It brought with it a terrifying heat wave, as if it was a real sun that could crush everything. Lin Xian had the great dragon sword soul, so his battle strength was extremely powerful. Only then could he contend with the Golden Crow tribe. Otherwise, if it was someone else, they would have been turned into a pool of blood under the solar golden flame saber. The two of them fought, and all kinds of shadows and rays of light rushed in all directions. This was a real battle. The two of them were evenly matched, and they killed in all directions. Lin Xian looked dignified, but he was excited in his heart. It had been a long time since he had such a hearty battle. His opponent was evenly matched with him, and he did not have to worry about anything. He attacked with all his strength, and used all kinds of secret skills to prove himself. Lin Xian felt the blood in his body boiling, and his fighting soul was awakening. He could not help but let out a long cry, and his black hair fluttered. He was like a demon god, and he was unstoppable. Gale Lightning Sword, 3 moves that could frighten ghosts and gods. Following Lin Xian's words, the sky was torn apart again, and a huge black sword fell from the sky. Different from the previous two huge swords, this sword shadow was extremely black, and it brought with it a strange aura like a ghost's cry. It fell quickly. Wherever it passed, the mountain rocks were shattered, and the trees withered. Everything withered, as if it had fallen into a dead silence. This sword brought with it a strong aura of death, and it quickly slashed downward. Boom! A violent sound rang out, and the entire White Bone Mountain shook. In the sky, the dazzling golden sun was slashed by the huge black sword, and it shook continuously. Endless light shone. Jin Yu, who was in the center of the sun, trembled, and his eyes were filled with shock. Then, an even more dazzling light burst out from his body, and it swept out in all directions. Jin Yu was too shocked. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. That terrifying pitch-black sword Qi was actually able to extinguish his sun god fire, and even threaten his safety. It seemed that it would not be easy to defeat his opponent. With a roar, his arms moved quickly, and the solar golden flame saber in his hand became even more dazzling. The golden light danced, and it radiated even more terrifying energy. Lin Xian was even more ferocious. With the sword of Nirvana in his hand, he brought with him a boundless aura of death and nirvana. He killed his way through the terrifying flames of the sun and arrived in front of Jin Yu. However, Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat when he saw his opponent's calm and cold eyes. Oh no! His pupils shrank, and he used the illusory demon steps to retreat instantly. In the next moment, the golden crow shadow on the solar golden flame saber suddenly expanded, and then it exploded. Chapter 986. The explosion was too violent. It was as if a fourth-level venerable had self-destructed. The terrifying energy caused a black hole to appear in the sky. Looking at the boundless black hole, everyone fell into a daze. Deep fear appeared in their eyes. Even a fourth-level venerable wouldn't be able to withstand such a powerful explosion, let alone Lin Xian. It would be considered good if he didn't die. However, if Lin Xian was heavily injured and dying, they would lose this battle for sure. At that time, they would lose the qualification to enter the demon blood pool. At this moment, everyone looked at the sky nervously and prayed in their hearts. On the other side, Dugu Outyin and Li Yunfei, who were fighting fiercely, also noticed the situation and frowned. Are we going to lose? They were unwilling to accept this outcome. Of course, they didn't have much resentment, because the energy of the explosion made their hearts tremble. If it was any one of them, they wouldn't be able to escape the fate of being blasted away. In the Immortal Martial Academy, the entire true martial lake was silent. Everyone looked at the light screen in the sky, and was extremely nervous. A few elders also frowned and their eyes flickered. Demon-slaying realm, White Bone Mountain. The huge black hole in the sky covered the entire sky. It was pitch black, as if it wanted to devour everything. Even after so long, no one saw Lin Xian's figure. Just when they were in despair, a sudden scream pierced through the sky and broke the deathly silence. Hearing this scream, everyone was stunned because they realized that the one who screamed wasn't Lin Xian but Jin Yu. What's going on? Wasn't Lin Xian the one who was surrounded by the explosion? Why is Jin Yu the one who screamed in anger? Everyone didn't understand. However, they were extremely excited. Looking at this scene, it seemed like there was a chance for the situation to turn around. As long as Lin Xian didn't lose, everything was fine. Soon, the violent energy in the sky quickly dissipated, and two figures appeared. Not only that, there were traces of blood mist in the air. Lin Xian was bleeding from the corner of his mouth, and his face was pale. He was severely injured. On the other side, Jin Yu was even worse off. His face was incomparably distorted, and there was a huge sword scar on his back that almost split him in half. The two of them stared at each other, emitting a terrifying killing intent. They wanted nothing more than to tear each other apart. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to injure his opponent in such a critical situation. This was simply inconceivable. In fact, Lin Xian had indeed been struck by the terrifying energy. Fortunately, he was wearing the Red Lotus battle armor and was extremely fast. In other words, the terrifying explosion only affected him and did not truly engulf him. Not only that, he even used Bloody's clone from Bloody's inheritance to create an advantageous opportunity. He got his clone to stay in the storm while his real body went behind Goldfeather to deliver a fatal blow. However, the other party was also quite impressive. He actually noticed it at the last moment. So this sword strike only heavily injured the other party and did not cut him in half. Brat, you dare to injure me? I'll kill you. Jinyu roared ferociously, his voice shaking the surroundings. The other two groups, the Spirit Feather race and the Giant race, were all stunned. They didn't expect Jinyu to be heavily injured. Duga Outyan laughed loudly. How is it? I said that this brat will definitely exceed your imagination. Now you know. With a cold snort, the Spirit Feather race expert unleashed an even more terrifying attack. Below, Jinyu roared ferociously like an injured beast. It was extremely terrifying. Balls of golden light quickly enveloped him, and golden flames came to his back and quickly healed his wounds. On the other side, Lin Xian was also quickly circulating the longevity art to heal his injuries. Both of them were injured, and were racing against time to recover quickly. This time, whoever could seize the initiative would have a great chance of winning. Everyone held their breaths and watched nervously. Although it seemed that Jin Ye's injuries were more serious, his recovery speed was also extremely terrifying. Now they could only pray that Lin Xian could recover first. Otherwise, the situation would be very dangerous. In the next moment, Lin Xian moved. His black hair fluttered as he let out a long roar. The longevity art in his body quickly circulated, displaying an extremely powerful vitality. A ball of jade-green light flowed on his body, healing his injuries by more than half. He held the Lone Star sword in his hand and walked forward step by step. This time, he had to defeat his opponent. Rumble! Sword chi surged and circled around him. Countless pillars of sword chi surged out, connecting heaven and earth and filling the entire void. All the sword chi rumbled and turned into true dragons, roaring in all directions. Terrifying light illuminated the entire sky. Seeing the figure quickly approaching, Jin Ye's pupils constricted and his heart beat wildly. His face was gloomy as he gritted his teeth and roared. Golden Crow descent. Golden light shone on his body and quickly surged out. A huge golden crow phantom appeared behind him. It seemed to be condensed from gold, and was incomparably dazzling. The golden crow phantom flapped its wings, forming an endless sea of fire that protected Jinyu. This was his demon soul, similar to a human's martial soul. However, his demon soul was more powerful than his martial soul, because it also contained the bloodline power of the Golden Crow tribe. The terrifying golden sun from before was condensed from the flames emitted by the demon soul. At this moment, the Golden Crow demon soul was fully displayed. Its power was absolutely terrifying. After displaying the Golden Crow demon soul, Jinyu became fierce again. He made use of the Golden Crow demon soul to release endless light, forming a fiery field that resisted the endless sword chi of his opponent. The two majestic forces collided once again, and then they were quickly annihilated. At the same time, he clenched his fist and formed the solar golden flame saber again. However, this time, the saber was more solid. In the golden light, there was a ball of purple flame. Although it was weak, the power that it exuded was extremely terrifying. This time, Jinyu had displayed his demon soul and the solar golden flame saber, the unique skill of the Golden Crow tribe. It could be said that he had reached the extreme. In the next moment, he roared ferociously and raised the fiery saber above his head with both hands. He then slashed down. Solar golden flame slash. In the sky, the saber flashed. The golden light was like eternal starlight, extremely dazzling. In the next moment, a dazzling golden saber flashed across the sky and slashed down quickly. Lin Xian also let out a long roar. The great dragon sword soul in his body surged and was pushed to the extreme. He was just short of displaying it. Although he did not display it, the power was extremely terrifying. One should know that the great dragon sword soul was an offensive saint art between heaven and earth. Now that it was activated by Lin Xian, its attack power was extremely strong. Not only that, Lin Xian also displayed the Ice Lotus martial soul. The terrifying ice chi shrouded the surroundings. The two forces merged. Lin Xian was like a sword, extremely powerful.